awana poto seko sala chérie ona yo nakozonga nakomemela yo mwa souvenir tika kokanisa makanisi malekingaki butu nalalate sepona kokanisa yo mulananga na ye awana poto sekosala sheri ona yo nakozonga nakomemela yo mwa souvenir tika kokanisa masango na yoki pona yo
Okay, so good morning once again, and welcome to the Newsfile UK here with me, Dr. Morton, and then Mr. ODUPONG. Just bear with us as usual. We're having a bit of technical problems, but thankfully we've got all that sorted. So we're going to talk about, particularly we're going to talk about the incident that's been going on the whole of this week, and that is the Ghana, Arise Ghana, put it that way. And the good thing about it is at least we have the police in control of what is going on. So at least it has not escalated to, that serious it is. But thankfully, I've got David on the line, who is going to update us. Currently, I know I had wanted to treat a topic that says that a brave MP who was able to let the international world that they only exploit in Africa. But thankfully, I've got David online. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And then yourself, I hope you are safe.
Oh, I am safe.
Oh, okay. As for you, as adamant as you are, I believe you've been through a lot than what we're seeing at the moment. So you probably have to be safe, I bet. Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay, so first of all, apart from what is going on, I know that is the most sensitive issue in Ghana at the moment. And so whatever it is, at least we're gonna, if you want to brief us apart from that and what else is going on in Ghana, well, the point is not here, and then we'll take a look at that when he comes. We break that down. So you're live on it. First of all, thank you as usual for always being available on the show, yes. David. You're live on it.
Yes, I'm almost running out of time, but I will.
Yeah, if you summarize it, just a bit of what you went through yesterday and today is fine.
So I'm sure you are aware that the week began with a lot of expectation of the demonstration done by the Arise Ghana group, a multi-party campaigners who decided to go on demonstration for 2 days. So the day was on Tuesday when they took to the streets. They had some initial problems with the police when they were picking the routes to use for the demonstration. It appears then that the police have had a back and forth with them regarding what road to use and what time to start and end the demonstration. It went on to a point where the demonstrators or the organizers, I may say, had issues with the government, the police, who were intransigent in, they are dealing with the organizers. The organizers thought that the police have not been straightforward with them. They have been showing bad faith in the discussion to agree on what route to use. So on the day itself, I was at the grounds, the demonstration grounds at the Obra Sport, where the demonstration was supposed to start from. And demonstrators started gathering from the morning around 8 a.m. till around 2 thereabout, when they intended to move through the street they have chosen. They chose to use the ringway through to Kanda and make a presentation of their petition to the Flagstaff House. And from there, we'll head back to the Independence Square. Unfortunately, the police will not have any of that. The police wanted them to use Paris School, Brasford through Paris School, to the Independence Square.
Okay.
And a route that the police have described as traditional route, demonstration route. And that did not go well with the demonstrators, because they felt that, look, demonstration in the Constitution did not define any route for demonstration. Indeed, demonstration, picketing, and many other means of expression were allowed by the Constitution, and that no individual was to change that constitutional right and provision. And so that was the battle between the police and the organizers of the demonstration. So on the day when the demonstration started from Obrasport, the police had come in their numbers and mounted a blockade at the around the Kukumeme overpass, and they wouldn't let the demonstrators go through. The demonstrators were also not back out from wanting to pursue their demonstration through the same route. So after some time, it turned into a violent scene with the police firing tear gas and rubber bullets through the crowd.
Oh dear.
And the crowd also responding with pelting of stones, and it was an ugly scene. It was a very ugly scene that day. People got injured, and some of the police officers also got injured. The demonstrators had a lot of injuries as well.
Oh dear.
So it was a sad thing to see, particularly when it resulted in a lot of what's the name, injuries, and of course, which has been captured vividly by the media. It's painted a very ugly picture of our democracy as a country. It ought not to have happened. But that notwithstanding, the following day, the demonstration came on again. The demonstrator chose to have 2 days of demonstration.
Okay.
They wanted it non-stop, but the police said they would rather they do it in bits. They can do the first day and come the following day, but they were not going to allow them to have 2 days continuous. And they cited some reasons for that their insistence. One of the reasons was that it was not appropriate, given that the country was on red alert regarding terrorist attacks, and also that there had been incidences of terrorism across the region, and so they were not going to allow be able to cater for them in the night. So that was how it went. And the following day, the demonstrators were allowed to use routes, and it went quite well. I mean, there was no incidents recorded on the second day.
Right.
And interestingly, they used the same flash house route that they were being prevented from using the previous day. I do not know. I thought that probably it was rather the president's house, which they did not want. The president's house is located at Nima police station area.
Yes.
And if you are using the ring road, and you're definitely going to march in front of the president's family house. So I am pretty much sure it was more or less the president's family house they were protecting, rather than preventing them from going to the Flagstaff house to present their petition. So basically, this was what happened regarding the demonstration. Aside that, we are being told that the government has officially gone to the IMF to request for some form of assistance. Surprisingly, because over the past months, we have been told by officials of the government that they were not going to go to IMF, and that they believe that the economy was on the right track, and that nothing was going to make them go to IMF. And it was only a failed government which will go to the IMF. As we speak now, government is negotiating with IMF for assistance. The details we do not know yet, but it's marks of a double government, a double standard, if I may say. So here we are. I mean, the fact is that I've told you the weeks past that our economy is in a deep hole, and unless something drastic is done, we are all going to bear the branch of bad economy and bad governance, and that is exactly where we are now.
Oh, okay. I see. First of all, I was very happy with the fact that, before the whole demonstration, or the people expressing their displeasure with what was going on, they had informed the police officials. Then at least they were giving them the guidelines as to how to go about it. So if you look at so far, is this something you think the government is going to yield to this petition, or you acknowledge it's going to still fall on the deaf ears, as it's been? If you look at the number of times Ghanaians have to do what we call the public outcry, especially with the private jet issue and all that, we couldn't see any changes until recently, where I understand we're having where the president is going to go on a commercial flight, or still going to stick to the private jet.
Well, it's clear to all of us that the government has been very slow in listening to the outcry of the public. They decide to do mostly what they want, and they I don't know why, but they always feel like they are defeated when they listen to what the public is suggesting. So, well, but interestingly, we are in a time that it's for government to make it an option not to listen to the people, because so far everything they have insisted on have been a failure. Everything they told us, they have done the opposite. When they said they were not going to go to IMF, they are at IMF now. When they said that there was nothing they could do about fuel prices, we are told that the fuel prices have been reduced by some 8%. I mean, will be reduced by some 8% by tomorrow. And so obviously there's nothing they can do about it. When we all talk about e-levy being the appropriate tax at this time, they refuse to listen to anyone. They use all kinds of machinations to pass the e-levy. As we speak now, some government officials have been suggesting that they may be scrapping off the e-levy, they may be scrapping off the e-levy. So basically, there is nothing that this government has insisted on that actually got to work. So they, if I think that they are running out of options, so if demonstrations or any other form of expression is going to get them to listen, I think that I would encourage the citizens, I would encourage Ghanaians to continue to speak truth to power, to continue to speak their mind and make suggestions. They should not give up in this country, because if we give up, unfortunately, we are in democracy, and so there's nothing that can be done in terms of removing the government unless the 4 years end. The only right we have, the only privilege we have, is to talking to government about what they are doing that, will not help the country. We have to keep talking. We have to keep expressing ourselves within the remit of the law. And that, I don't think anyone should be able to take that from us. That's why the ugly scene we saw on Tuesday, when the demonstrators went on the street, cannot be tolerated, cannot be encouraged, and we hope that lessons have been learned, and that the security system, even the demonstrators, can take some lessons from it and ensure that future demonstrations are peaceful enough to continue to allow people to express themselves within our democratic right.
Oh dear, it's a shame that they started off with agreeing to do it peacefully, and then it got to a point there was a bit of a misunderstanding as you put it through. Do you still have enough time, or we can leave you and then give us the rest maybe next week?
I think a question or two from you other than that.
Yes. Okay, so my question that I have for you is, over the time we've seen, especially when we had a few men who died around 9 during the last, the election. If you look at what is happening now, you think the government is concerned really about people who have some injuries, or so far we've not reported any death or anything like that?
Well, unfortunately, this Kufuor government is a government of atrocities. They have done a lot of. They have
I think the government rather came in to rescue people from their predicaments, and that how can the government come in to be to be tagged as an atrocity government?
It's an atrocious government, and I say that because, Doctor, you will remember that for the first time in our democracy,
yes,
people have been killed. At least 8 people have been killed in an election. Have you heard the president spoken about it? No, you haven't.
I haven't. Not at all. With that, I blame the president for not saying a word.
There was an Ayawasu West Wagon by-election, which resulted in a death and some injuries to individuals. We were told by reports, that were generated from the Short report, that indeed it was a state-sponsored attack on, electors.
Okay.
Have we heard the government actually, if you follow it, the government white paper actually dismissed all the suggestions made in that report. Indeed, government has had little to do, apart from coming up with a ferocious, how do you call it, national security, what's the name, vigilante act, which they themselves are not even sticking by. After that incident, we are aware that a young man called Kaka, who was expressing himself, who was said to be a critic of the government, was killed, was gunned down by somebody, was killed by an unknown assailant. We have not killed him as we speak now. And indeed, when his folks attempted to demonstrate and express their concern about the killing, 2 people were gunned down as a result of that.
Oh my God!
Where that matter is now? We are told that indeed in Tetima or in the Bono region, a young man was pulled out from his house. Apparently because he was a witness to an incident involving the security operatives. Those who did that have not been found as we speak today. And indeed, a young man has been killed. Demonstration had taken place. Police fired tear gas, shot live bullets into the crowd. Look, there have been instances, I can count countless of them, which, have. So I'm being even magnanimous by saying that the government is an atrocious. It's a criminal government, if I should put it right.
Right.
So, because we are talking about life of people here. People have been killed.
But David, last week,
the police service infested with militiamen who are appendage of the government, the governing party. We cannot sit down and watch this happen.
Last week, we talked about the fact that it looks like the government can get away with everything, though it's not about the law. That's a typical example is what we're seeing now. At least if you can just pick up a gun and shoot anybody, disperse them by, let's say, tear gas and quite a few. This as a government we see to be untouchable government. If you try it, you have your own consequences to face. Is that what it is?
So you agree with me that the description I've given it, that this is a government, a criminal government, if I may say.
Yeah.
And I think that it is even very disheartening to me that the
you've got ODUPONG laughing if you call it a criminal government.
President Akufo-Addo is said to be a human rights lawyer. Indeed, if you recall the days of Kumi Preku, which was led by his life, his colleagues who joined him to do the Kumi Preku are sorry. They are crying now as we speak. That look, when we started Kumi Preku, we did quite worse than this. We didn't have the kind of repressal we are getting under this government. There are people who have said, yesterday I was listening to Dr. Kwesi Eni, who is in charge of the Fiona Center. He said that, look, under President Mahama, I have done a lot of criticisms of him. I chased him. I said all kinds of things of him. Today, if I say half of the same things I said under President Mahama, I cannot have a sleep. This is what is happening in the country. I mean, we cannot tolerate it, particularly when we have a person in our president that we value as a human rights lawyer. We cannot have some of these things.
Is he? Sorry, is he just, doing away with his ethics regarding his profession as a lawyer? Or is the fact that he doesn't just care anymore? It's not as if his tenure in his office. Go on.
If you ask me, I will tell you, because I have followed his antecedents all this while, and I can tell you that President Akufo-Addo is not who he has been described to be, and I have known this all the while.
Okay.
If you follow President Akufo-Addo's track record, he is not who the media have decorated him to be. Indeed, I said there's a
please hold, David. Somebody has called. Let the person hold on. David, you go on, and then I'll pick him later, please.
Okay. The true character of a person is not seen when the person is in need. When the person has everything, that is when you see their true character. And indeed, what the President Akufo-Addo wanted was to become a president. So he was decorated in all manner of colors that, were fake, if I may say. Today, having become the president, rather than doing this and living in his track, credentials that the nation can be proud of, his family can be proud of, he's rather living very this comfortable, character of himself. That is a worry to many of us. Given that indeed he has about 2 more years to stay in office, it is going to be only left to the Ghanaian to demonstrate and to talk about the bad things he's doing and make sure that he does not take all of us for granted, that he does not abuse the power given him by the people of Ghana. I can assure you that we all must do, and I'm sure with what I've seen on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm sure that the Ghanaian is ready to get Akufo-Addo to sit out and live within the requirement of the Constitution.
Good. What I want to ask you is, you think now we're sitting on a very fragile window, if you want. You think we can fall over? You think the country can get into what some of the neighboring African countries as the worst case scenarios we've experienced?
Look, even the best democracies failed. We have seen the likes of America falling in the hands of the likes of Trump, and terrible things happened. But in the end, we were rescued by the good people. Indeed, Americans waited and got Trump out of power, in spite of all the shenanigans he was doing. This Akufo-Addo government, we have seen governments gone before. The almighty Ronnie's government fell. Mills' government fell. Kufuor's government fell. I mean, they were voted out. And Akufo-Addo's government is going to be voted out. But before it is voted out, if it continues abusing the Constitution, if it continues abusing the life of the Ghanaian, I am sure that people will not sit down and fold their arms. They will ensure that they keep him in line. That I can assure you. But it is the responsibility of every Ghanaian to guide this democracy that we have accepted. It does not go the way we all do not want. It is not in our interest. It is our interest to protect the democracy. And that's why we will do everything to ensure that peaceful demonstrations are done, to tell the government that, look, you cannot have your way. We have to make sure we encourage all peaceful, all rights that are reserved by the Constitution, and use it to the advantage of the Ghanaian. And I can tell you that as for the other way, we pray it won't get there. What we have to do is to continue to act within the constitutional provision to bring the government to understand that it is a government, it must be a government for the people, government for the people and of the people, not by Akufo-Addo and his family.
Mr. Dupont, I've seen Mr. Dupont nodding his head. What I want to know. Yes, Mr. Dupont cannot understand the terms you're using for Akufo-Addo this morning about the fact that.
Well, it's not personal. I mean, it's a description of the events that have happened so far.
Okay. What it is,
and I'm sure
the terms like the criminal and all that is quite disheartening to have realized that some some of these words, you know, is unbearable. It's hard to bear because we don't expect the president, who's like a father to a nation, rather to be criminal to the people. Anyway, so Dupont want to ask you some question, David.
Good morning, David.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm God's grace.
Very good, very good. It looks like you are boiled over by yesterday's demo. That this morning you woke up coming to criminalize the president. Is that correct?
I mean, I think that when you watch what happened and you place it in the context of what has happened already, you would have no kind word for the president when you talk about these things.
Yes. Well, I mean, the thing is, there are so many Ghanaians who are disappointed, really, under the NPP and the present president's regime. Some even classified it as a glorified military regime. So I'm not surprised at the words you used this morning, because same words were used for President Mahama, or similar words were used for President Mahama. But we need to be moving from this kind of attacks because, like President Mahama said, you haven't been a president, so you can't know what is down there. Maybe there's a boiling, something boiling under the water that we don't know.
Well, what I don't understand is, not to cut you, but if you look at, for all these years, you know, the government appears in the minds of Ghanaians that it seems to be doing its, you know, what it intends to do. That is when people believe that even if we keep fighting, and then with all series of demonstrations we've had, it's still not going to change anything because it still falls on deaf ears. Do you think the president, as time has proven, is really concerned about the Ghanaians?
Well, I think when I hear most commentaries, it looks like people are saying the president is not concerned about Ghanaians. He's sleeping on the job. So what makes him sleep? What makes him unconcerned? These are reasons we have to be looking for, rather than, you know, attacking.
Okay, go on, David.
If we have elected a president of his team, we have given him the power to appoint whoever it takes to ensure that the systems work, that Ghanaians' lives are better than we came to meet. And he chooses people who he places, he gives mandate to do this. And things are going back. If you have, let's take Ghana as a business, and you are the owner of this business, you have hired people who are working, and the business is going down and down and down. Would you watch the business go down and collapse, or you would fire? You would change your staff and perhaps even change some of the staff. I mean, this is what it is. So we have, unlike even a business, in this instance, once you are appointed, you are given an authority of governance, you have all kinds of privileges at your behest, including responsibility over the people who are giving you the power. The responsibility that you keep them safe, the responsibility that you make their life better, the responsibility that you guard I mean, the trust they have given you, you know, in a humane manner. Now, if you put all this responsibility aside, and the people you have appointed, you have put in places to discharge these responsibilities are misbehaving, they are stealing, and even you are stealing. So you do all these things, and we said this is what you are doing, and you think that we do not have the right to say these things. I mean, what kind of what's the name? A CEO are you?
David, I don't want you to get picked up this morning. You've had enough of that. And
no, that the president is stealing. We no longer need any excuse to say that, because we no longer need to say excuse me to say that the president is stealing.
You know the country. You know the country you live in.
Into the COVID expenditure. Take a look at it. How much has been spent in COVID on COVID?
Yeah, but
and when you have government functionaries telling you that the money that was meant to alleviate, you know, to reduce the effect, the impact of COVID has rather been used to, you know, feed political party activists, and that it was used in a very reckless manner without recourse to the country's, you know, future. That monies were thrown about when they were supposed to be used judiciously to advance the cause of the country. Now, if these monies had been used properly, we should not be going to IMF today. And you watch on. I mean, tell me what word to use for this president and his appointees.
Okay.
Tell me, Mr. Dupont, please tell me what word to use.
David.
Or we should all go and sleep and pray that another 4 years come, and whether we elect the same government or elect another set of people, they also come and do the same thing, and then the Ghanaian is the one suffering.
David, I can understand your boiled over and your choice of words. I am all in favor of whatever you have said, whether you are picked up or you are not picked up. That is not here nor there, because it has to be said.
Okay.
When people have had enough,
they've had enough.
They have to say what they feel to make them happy. But I keep coming back to the point of why we've had this government with that government, and when they come, it is the same scenario. That is where I'm worried, because something is happening that we are not privy to. You see, I want the Ghanaian scholars and the Ghanaian writers to dip into what stops them. Look, President Akufo-Addo said all the nice things that we needed to hear, isn't it?
Well, every president does.
But we're seeing the reverse of it. So, which means there must be something happening in that place. So, David, maybe we'll charge you to dive into what is the problem.
If you tell me that fuel prices move from 4 cedis a liter to 14 cedis a liter to 61 cedis a liter in the spec of 5 years or 6 years under a president who had a campaign against such increases, I would understand anything could have happened. But when you know that what had happened is as a result of corruption, tell me how we can justify corruption. We cannot. We cannot justify corruption. We cannot justify the fact that you pull down a community hospital in the name of La General Hospital under the claim that you are going to build a new one. It's about 4 years now. That hospital has not been built. You pull down a trade fair, because you want to build a modern standard one. You have not built that. For about 3 years now, you haven't built that. Now you then take money and you are paying one person 36 million Ghana cedis. Are you there?
We are here.
We're here.
One person 36 million Ghana cedis to construct a cathedral. Tell me, if you are taking a proper decision in your own home, would you prefer a cathedral to a hospital that serves a community of about 1,000 and more people? Would you do that? So this one is not a rocket science. I don't think anybody needs to do any research, unless the research is about to check the psychology or the psychic of whether they are normal or they are not normal. That's going to be a medical research that perhaps I will agree with you. If it's a medical research as to how the state of mind of these people taking this decision, then I will agree with you. Other than that, it is preferable to build a cathedral than to build a hospital to save the sick.
Okay. You've got the calls coming in. Okay. I think I've picked the Skype already. May I know who's on the Skype?
Good morning, Doctor. It's Tegbe.
I know you've been trying to get it to the whole line is jammed up with a lot of people. I had wanted David to finish and then we start picking the calls at 11 o'clock. We've got about 15 minutes to 11. I've got a few messages. Yeah, go on, David.
Perhaps I can dive out now. Let me say good morning to all your listeners and wish you all the best for this morning, your discussions.
Yeah, good morning. Are you still available to hold on with us as you listen to a few deliberations that comes in, or you would like to go and continue doing whatever you're doing, in as much as we appreciate the fact that
I would like to give the space to other people to also make their contribution.
Okay, that's fine. And so your final word to Ghanaians and then at the diaspora, you're not according your submissions with a partisan perspective, but at least you're only giving us your advice as to how you see the country and the state in which it is.
Well, my final statement is that no country in this world has ever prospered with the good people sitting down on the fence and folding their arms whilst the bad guys rip the state off. No country has ever survived like that. And those who think that governance or having a say in what government does is all about being colored by a political party or not, they must think again. Because if we all keep quiet and watch things happen the way they are happening, we are in democracy. What democracy basically means and multi-party system means is that one party takes up to a certain time when the people decide to vote them out, another one comes. And if we do not speak out on some of these things and we do not get involved in how our country should be governed, whether you belong to NDC, MPP, CPP, or whatever, if you do not do that, in the end, when the parties change, they come and do the worst than the previous has done, because they watch. I listen to some people, they say, oh, okay, this is what they have done. We've learned our lessons. When it's our turn, that's how it goes. The cycle, that's how it just goes. When the good people sit down and watch the political players dramatize with our destiny. Look, I'm not going to mention my age, but I'm sure in the next 20 years, I should be getting ready to get into retirement. I want to ask myself how I'm going to live after my retirement, how I'm going to live the rest of these years ahead of me. It should be of concern to, because we all know that at the point in time, you will be no more. Once you are still alive, make yourself count, contribute to what you want your nation to become. Your forebears have done something. Your children are going to have to live with the decisions you take today. If you decide to sit down and fold your arm and enjoy your shoes, your good dresses and food, your children may not get the same. Your country will continue to be like this, and God knows what will happen. Thank you, Ghanaians.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you. You have a good weekend, sir. Thank you. Are you there, Mr. Tegbe? Good morning. I think.
Okay.
Are you there?
I am here.
Yes. It's quite a lengthy chat, especially when you start bringing in words that we think for his own safety is not safe. And so we only are cautioning to, if not to give a lighter words, and so we can consider some of the things he's saying. But in any case, at least he's paid heed to some of the words that we're trying to caution him from here. I've got you online, but first of all, take that you're live on air. Sorry for holding the line for quite too long. The thing is, we're not even ready to pick horse, but since we started quite too late, we want to get you all involved. And some of you who started messaging me very concerned topics that you thought we should treat, or some of the information you thought I will need, apart from the ones that I have researched. Thank you very much. So, Tekba, can we hear you, please?
Good morning to all Ghanaians and all listeners home and abroad.
Good morning,
and
sir.
all stakeholders in the country. We are where we are today. We give thanks for this morning. I'll quickly touch on the clear.
Hang on, let me find out from Joe. Joe, sorry, Krobia. Krobia, can you hear Mr. Tegbe, please?
I can clearly hear him.
Okay, you can clearly hear me. That's fine. Yeah, go on, sir.
With the issue with Claire Daly, the European MP touching on the colonialism that's being practiced through policies.
Yeah, your line is breaking.
We are willing.
Okay, that's fine. Yes.
As to the leadership that we currently have, there is always an opportunity to be at the table. There's always an opportunity to renegotiate or relook at some of these things instead of hurriedly agreeing and making things run when we feel uncomfortable. So to that, we are doing ourselves some service. The Europeans look out for themselves. That's what they do. I mean, the rest is on us if we play along or we allow it to go on unfettered. But that's all I'll say on that for now. And I would want to then go to touch about the police and the demonstration and their promises that they made.
Sorry, Mr. Dupont want to react to, I don't know what he does say. Mr. Dupont, you wanted to say something.
Yes, good morning to you, Mr. Tokwe. Now, you said the Europeans look after themselves and our leaders don't look after themselves. Is that what you're saying? And if that is what you're saying, have you seen any European leader who has been deliberately killed because they're looking after their European selves? How many African leaders have been murdered on the job? These are some of the reasons we need to be looking at. Why are African leaders killed? And if you're a leader, would you throw away your life for people who are not supporting you?
Are you there, Mr. Tegwe?
I am. I mean, is he setting his own question or is he asking a question that he wants me to answer before I
first of all, he wanted to know if you said Europeans don't kill themselves. Is that how the question was?
I never said anything about Europeans not killing themselves. Did he hear that my submission?
The European leaders you were talking about.
Did I say anything about Europeans killing themselves?
You talked about the European MP the submission that was given earlier.
Claire Daly.
Yes.
Okay. Which part of that was about killing themselves?
No,
you said Europeans care for themselves, isn't it?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Probably I did misconstrued that. But if I were you, why does he not end? And then we take the question. If you want to write your question down, because it's touched on first issue. so that we come back. If you want to write that down, so that when it's done,
Okay.
we can ask him. So don't go on, Mr. Tegbe.
Okay. I mean, I think this is deliberate, but I'll let it slide. I was speaking about the police and the promises that they made to demonstrators. Unfortunately, I mean, some of us were of view that there was nothing going to come out of that charade that was done as a media PR. And we look back on incidents that have gone on in recent times. I mean, in the last 12 to 18 months, and every time this unprofessionalism is exhibited, every time you find police going heavy-handed. Now, the issue with the police and why these things do happen, it is either a training issue or it's a deliberate issue. Because there are two things that happen when you get deployed. What you wear, what you carry with you, that is the intent of the police. If you go out to go and assist, you do not come out sitting on armor tanks with guns cocked, pointing into the crowd. There are pictures, the posture of the police. The police were not there. The police do not attend demonstration to go and tell people how to demonstrate. The police only intervene if there is anything untoward happening, where it deems there can be loss of life or criminal. It's not for them to do anything else apart from safeguard the people that are demonstrating. And it ends there. With that heavy deployment, if the allegation they are attempting to make that a stone was thrown, why would somebody throw a stone? Even if somebody did throw a stone, you zone in, you have a response team that goes in after the person and take the person away from the number of people. You do not start firing willy-nilly into the whole crowd. You isolate whoever or the perpetrators of the crime so that innocent people among the masses do not get injured, because the crowd outnumbered the police. If it was the whole number of people that were doing whatever they claim was happening, the police would not, even with their arms, have been able to combat it. That we need to establish before all the excuses being thrown out there. Now, it's a shame that the IGP, under his watch, these things do keep happening. One time too many. We keep getting these repeated things and these stories and this PR stands. Just a few weeks ago, we had police go into a secondary school and misbehave the same way. It is unprofessional for a school demonstration to have police turn up when all the kids are trying to do is talk about people that are being killed in front of their school. The police did not see that fit to deal with, but thought it was okay to brutalize the kid. The police in recent times seem to think that they are there to show how strong they are. It is unnecessary. We have police stations being robbed by armed robbers and police are running away and leaving that. So coming in uniform, being armed and turning a gun on citizens when you can't protect your own police station, it is not courageous. It is nothing that shows any high standard or nothing that would give anyone confidence. There are people that are injured, people that were in the vicinity of the demonstration that were not even with the crowd at the time, which means that the firing was just done loosely, no format. But nobody will come to book. We will get a PR statement, and now the focus is that the police were attacked. No, the police were unprofessional. That is what we need to be looking at. And these brutalities, I think, are deliberate. I am not prepared to accept that a whole country's police force can consistently make the same mistakes with nothing happening out of it. Ejura is an example. People coming from a funeral, chanting. We must know, when you go to different countries, all countries are aware of the cultural differences. All countries are aware of the terrain they are in. And the policing is done according to all of that. It is not only about having CCTV. It's not only about that. The police have intel, they have the SDID. They have so many ways of nabbing people when it's in their interest. But how do you, as a citizen, feel when the police are responsible for billion van robbery? When the police that are in uniform are doing nothing but turning guns on citizens after funerals and killing them? When the police will turn up heavy-handed, dressed as if they have they're in a war with another country just to watch a war go on. All this will happen. And who is the loser? They do all this. Sometimes they forget that apart from their paymaster, they are also members of the community. So after they kill, they might be invited to that funeral. There is no policeman that has no family outside the police force. What happens the next day when you go and shoot your own uncle's kid? The police need to check their own conscience. They need to look at what their training is really about. Who are they serving? Are they serving the community? Are they serving people who are in power that might be giving the wrong directive? The power is transient. It will finish.
Okay,
Somebody will remember
Mr. Can you summarize within the next 3 to 5 minutes so we can get others calling? There's a lot of people, I'm sure, want to share their concerns so that we don't get the line holder.
Our current state of affairs is very sad. To all who turned up for that Arise demonstration, I say kudos to you all for standing up in the midst of the oppressive and tyrannic tactics and speaking your mind. This is just one of many that's yet to come. The police need to be aware. The police need to check their own environment. The police need to check the heat in the country and respect the wishes of the people. You can only suppress people by force for a certain amount of time. It is not wise. It is not in any security manual to try to be the henchmen. The police are not meant to be henchmen. The police are meant to be trusted, where people come to them so that they allow the law to work. When they turn themselves into henchmen, then it begs a question. It puts the country in a very difficult position. So my call today is to the police to respect their code, to respect their SOPs, and not act as henchmen for anybody. All of them, I will presume, in uniform, have trained and qualified to be out on the street.
Now, Mr. Tebe,
if somebody is giving you the wrong information, you should know.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, you can.
Now, David, he was my colleague, and then we all trained years back. You know, I've known David when we were in class and all that. And I hardly, I couldn't believe he was using words like an atrocious government. And, you know, it made it look like government who is interested to see the government, the country go haywire or, you know, scattered and some sort of political, okay, let's leave that. Some of the words he used for this government, are they not quite unbearable?
I would not go on a sanctimonious route and say that he was unbearable, because without even going into too much detail, I know the experience of people have been very different. I've had my fair share of encounters, but I not to dwell on that. But initially, when I started, I mentioned something about the deployment and the briefing. When you deploy people for a mission, I am sure the police done their risk assessment. They had to sit down with the leaders of the demonstration. Based on that, you will do a deployment. You do not send out tanks when you don't have any reason. Doctor, in this country, how many times have you seen tanks in the last 20 years? With your eyes, not on TV.
Not that I remember of, not that I can recollect.
Only in Ghana would you see tanks on the street, in the middle of residential areas. When you are in service, you get even in certain gear just to wear, it puts you in a different mode because that's what you're trained for. So you don't wake up and take 2 sidearms, a knife strapped to your leg, wear your bulletproof vest to go and say to people, I am coming to help you get water. Once you dress like that, you're out for war.
I see. Anyway,
So
Joe
there
has
is
said,
something that is wrong from the very top. So yes, if that's how he feels, he is 100% right, because there is no right or wrong to it. It's based on what you have experienced and your perception of what's going on.
I've got a message.
I look at that, and during the COVID era, the first 3 weeks that the lockdown happened, the first 6 days, I had a power cut every day. So all my food I had stored to stay in for 3 weeks got messed up. I then decided to go to the ECG office. I never had been to the ECG office in my area. When I was going, I didn't know where it was, and I stopped to speak to the police and seek for directions. The response of the police lady was, "Are you sure you want the office, or you just came to drive around?" I had stopped to ask for directions from the police. That attitude. Make sure you don't go out when you don't need to. Like, are you hearing yourself? I'm not a 12-year-old just got a car for the first time getting petrol. There is something wrong when people get deployed. I would have assumed that for a pandemic, the police or military or whoever were out on the street were not trained in any way to identify who had COVID on site. But they were there in bulletproof vests. They were wearing masks, knives strapped to their legs, some even with hammers. What are you supposed to be telling people on the street? When you meet somebody like that as a person, what is your first reaction? Are you trying to safeguard your own life? Or do you then want to go toe-to-toe with them? You're not there to intimidate anybody. You cannot intimidate anybody.
No. Anyway.
That is the message that should be out there for them.
All right.
When you're protected and serving, you earn the trust. Your quality of service is what will bring you the respect and the safety and the information flow and all of that you need for everyone to feel secure. And currently, I don't think anybody does.
No.
Even the dishonest people that these people to go and do the wrong thing, I don't think they will feel safe because they know elements of those people can escape to do other things. From the people wearing the uniform when they are not supposed to wear the uniform. All these things are going on.
Right. So, Mr. Akrobia, good morning. Openio.
Good morning.
Oh, Kafra. I had to find out certain question.
Dr. Morton.
Yes, sir.
This your doctor always confused me. You and Dr. Ren, because Dr. Ren was once
on the GN radio. Anyway, this is not GN radio. This is
sorry for maybe.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
You, Dr. Ren.
That's fine.
A very good morning to your cherished listeners.
Good morning, sir.
Viewers.
Good morning.
Doctor, as I've been saying, our country now is in this.
I think can you raise your voice? And now you need
can you hear me now?
Yes, you now you're talking.
Like I've been saying, the state of our country is on autopilot, and then very unfortunately, the pilot is now using the washroom, and then the whole plane has just nosedive. That is the state of our country now. The state of Ghana is
Mr.
You see how you are in the plane and then you see the plane diving like that.
Good.
How people on board, the way that they scream, see, calling their God
for help,
Allah,
all religious mothers,
all sorts of names. That is the state that our country
in which we are at the moment. What makes you say that,
Doctor?
Yes, sir.
What is working in the country at the moment? Nothing is working. All the institutions are not working. Tell me which institution is in Ghana at the moment is working. Absolutely nothing is working. Well, absolutely nothing.
We still have.
You see, we had confidence in this man Dampare as our main.
Are you saying the man has let you down?
And look at what is going on. There has been numerous of incidents under his tenure that is unpleasant. People are complaining because the trust that people gave to this man He has failed us completely.
Okay.
The man has failed. And one thing is, he will not be in the position forever.
Okay.
One day, he will be out of that position. But can this man go back and check his track records as the IGP?
Okay.
Because before even he was appointed as an IGP, there was a number of incidents that they can maybe he was aware. But you see, that one we can't say much. But now that he is in charge of affairs, look at what is going on. Doctor, people are, the brutality is too much. The embarrassment is too much. Is that how we expect as Ghanaians?
No.
Doctor, Ghana, but it seems now the authorities are treating the citizens like because now they have power, so they can use the power to bring those people down. Democracy and Ghana. I don't think these demonstrators no more sorry no more because democracy in Ghana, we are the peak of Africa. Democracy and Ghana and you can fire.
Of course, yes.
But say a man for being my man said no maybe because of man we are pet into your perceived demonstrating. Dr. Mamin says here, Nana Kufuor became a very popular man, not because say na or former president to be ceremonial president. You get what I mean?
I get what you mean, sir.
Because there are a lot of President Kufuor so on and the many people come and say that we know. Mahama Woma, Rolex Woma. Nana Kufuor were very popular because of demonstration and all Ghana. Count them. But Ghana for I said Nana Kufuor was leading a lot of demonstration in Ghana.
But sometimes we only talk about one side issues. When as at the 2012 election, he had to, out of concession, he had to appeal to all the supporters and NPP to calm down, to go to court, especially when they were not happy with the results and all. Is it not also a good example of a leadership? We said, also, he's only interested in, seeing the country going through demonstrations and that. And also, at least, watching in Penny Kakrana.
Oh,
can I answer that? Sorry, doctor.
That's fine.
Oh, the airplane said, and no matter a big way. It is the Oya Papa. It says, Ebony. And not just all Abia 1 year, Papa will be so big behind it.
So I mean, the beginnings and cow papa at least no kind of papa crowd kind of bonnet.
Me on any day, on any platform, Makasa. Me bo Nana Kufuor about to say free SHS was very good policy. Right? But the problem I mean free SHS was the implementation. Because Ukraine baby now so be go school. The result no na sisi yenya. When was the last time I will be one class or be go school 3 months? No be able to 6 months. Some crano they are some to results dia no more no more university, no more flop. Do you expect this in our education system?
No.
Why not say our system, our education system is working in the country? It is not. This is on person kind of crime because of politics I am blunt and doesn't want to speak the truth. And Rebecca said, our policy, our education policy is fine. It is not.
So why don't we start? So why don't we start from the roots? When Harry Sawyer, the man who, you know, during his time we had the GSS in the first place, until you know, during the old system, you go to Form 5, even after Form 5, Form 4, you go to secondary school, Form 1 to Form 5, go to lower 6, and all that. We don't blame all these people. It's only we don't qualify.
Anyway, there is difference between this doctor. There is difference between the DHS and the free, because free, everybody is going
right.
So see, hospital free. People are on there attending hospital now. And it's different from saying ABR charging. So what you see? This time around, the doctor even share 20 time 1 year charge. This time around, doctor no, it might be 50 or 100. A doctor now who are doing so 8 million day. 8 million shares and 50 no today no. It is just the problem, but say there were ABR hospitals more. Infrastructure no. Yeah, the plants more system will be there will be a lot of doctors unemployed.
Now look at his tweet.
The same issue with the pre-SHS.
Now look at what
problem. Our senior high schools, our junior high schools, they are choked because that is the problem. On a pilot basis. Is not going to help the country.
Okay, Rabia, and then I've tried to give everybody at least not less than 10 to 15 minutes until you want to wrap up, and then I get somebody else, Pacho. Akufo-Addo, Michelle tweet or say many of you have lost trust in politicians because of broken promises. But I want you to give me the opportunity to serve you differently. This is coming from Akufo-Addo himself.
No, Papa, if somebody, an old man is a liar, I don't know the right word, the right adjective to describe that person. Because who can't throw?
No, the man is not lying. The man believes you, that you, the citizen, believes, sir, you have lost trust in them. He knows. He's not lying. It's true that we have lost trust in the man. But he's only telling you to keep trusting him. He's going to serve you differently.
The man is a liar. He's a complete liar. During COVID, we got 88 hospitals. We know that say about home for the different agency. I then the one
okay.
Robia. The 1 million factory doctor. $1 million $1 million. I'm going to build it down. And I can't do that. And I have to see. Doctor, I can't down near the easy. And now I know, I say, Papa, we on the Apple. Apple, I say, Commander Sugar Factory. Or more a very human. We look at what you put here.
So I'll say he's sorry, and he admits that he couldn't wait.
Papa, no, you know what, and a why, and only as some doctor, Mammy can tell say, among president of one Bagana has said, and you know, go for one why present you. But the president, says you have the people, among lose interest, and go for.
Oh, okay. You see,
don't talk good of this man.
You see, what sometimes I want to pick up facts from everyone. Don't you think, sir, even in Nkrumah, who we believe that he was the most served in a way. Don't you think people lost interest in him?
Yeah, Nkrumah, people lost interest in Nkrumah, but but be a free empire, and a man who say Nipa lose interest. But later, Nipa Lankasa who said there was nothing wrong with him, and it all came from this same man.
Anyway, Krobia,
7 months. 7 months. I'm not saying doctor. 7 months. I'll be a leader. Ghana. It is his turn, and I timidly go and quell brochire. And my ship, it may return a year. And the cocoa got missing in sea. And the Kufa, the Papa, the rebels back on Seti, the Ghana phone, I'm remembering them today. I don't want to give you a Seti. It is any panel, you can't be said, like mother, like daughter, like father, like son. It is any panel, yes, so I'm making Ghana as well. And no every year, and one popular, and a young one. And the Kufa has nothing good for Ghanaians.
Okay.
Or by a say, or by rich in the family. Because Ghana no a year or more dear, so you have to come and then reap what they've sowed. Because a woman is a Ghana no.
Okay, Jinaso. Joe, good morning.
That this man has blocked. Good morning, Doc.
I'm Sir Krobia, I'm a Cassie Jano, Becasa Kusi, and because we are crowding, first of all, I want to say you're welcome to the program Newsfile again, because until can you send me a message? I was going to read it, but Krobia didn't allow me. So you're live on air. So far, you had David, you had our response from here, myself and ODUPONG. You want to chip in with your bits, please?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
And the program is why I'm Program is why I'm not too much. Program is why I'm not too much.
Yeah, so good morning to one Kassan, Mr.
Good morning, sir.
Is it Tegbe or
He's Tegbe. He's Tegbe, Mr. Tegbe. Yeah.
Good morning to him as well. NUPDR. I think, Doctor, for me, I will not go into the way via my brother Kobia Aircon. I am confronted with one thing. I still say the same thing confront almost 99% of Ghanaians. And that thing is that whether say Ghana for 99% of Ghanaians.
Yo, before you go there, I don't want you to go with your holistic
No.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're listening. Yeah, we're listening.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you live and clear.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that Ghanaians are confronted with the issue, whether or not to accept that once upon a time in their life, there was a president called Nana Addo Dankwa. Because for me, I don't think 10, 15 years to come, I can tell my daughter Nanaya that there was a president called Nana Addo Dankwa. I can't. And I will never do that.
Well, the lady would grow up to know anyway, so it's not an issue.
She will not know because that thing is not going to be tolerated in my house. That's the fact.
That's my.
See, we in every election, you are not going to have a Jesus Christ president. In every election, in any.
Thank you very much.
Britain, you cannot have a Jesus Christ president.
Okay.
But at least you are going to have a president that, irrespective of all the flaws he or she comes up with, there is one good thing about him. That the Ghanaians or the citizens are going to say, oh, yes, our president is this, he's the womanizer, is this. But for this, you can't take it away from him. But for Akufo-Addo, everything you say, everything Ghanaians will remind ourselves of about him, it's about corruption, it's about bad leadership, it's about negativity. I think Kobia couldn't, with all due respect, he couldn't tell you, well, maybe he was shy or something. The free agent. What is the good about a free agent?
No, he said it. He said something wrong with that. It's good that people will sit down, go back after 3 months and all that. He said it.
Yeah. The education system now is stagnant. It's stagnant. End of time. One thing we are all refusing to accept, or we are trying to forget in a malicious way, is that government, the ills of this government to the mercies of God. When you talk about one today, tomorrow you will receive 10 folds of that. We have heard the cathedral that we're all talking about. That the money given for architectural work for the cathedral is even more expensive than the architectural work that went into designing the biggest or the tallest building in the world. Tallest building in the world costs 1.8 million or so. Ghana's architectural work for a cathedral costs $30-something million. So you want me to tell my daughter that there was a precedent like this?
And you were saying, sir, how do you call it? You were saying
that Ghanaians cannot have a meal a day. That the president, all that he thinks about is kind of having a childhood fantasy being fulfilled. And you see, when Mr. ODUPONG was talking about Mahama or predecessor government when they come to the old look, I would prefer 100 years Mahama administration to this Akufo-Addo government. At least with Mahama, I know if Mahama was in power in the COVID era, I would have seen at least two well-equipped hospitals in Ghana. At least I would have seen. Solution to medical problems. I would have seen a university sprang up, probably in the western region or in the whatever region. If Mahama were in power today, I know my brother, my sister, my friend, my cousin will not go to school and come and stay home for 3 months. So when we are making a comparison, yes, of course, there wouldn't be anything better. Mahama had a flaw. But Mahama is 2 million times better than Akufo-Addo. Mahama spent 3 years. He was challenged for 1 year in court. And 3 years for Mahama built. Look, it will be a shame for anyone to make any comparison. Look, if you take, I believe in Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. If Mahama had 8 years, he would surpass Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. If Mahama, he had...
I'm coming. Let me just... I'm trying to... There's a call coming in. I was trying to merge both, but I think the call is... oh, dear. Joe, yeah, Joe's still there. Yeah, sorry, Joe. I think your line, your line, it rather, I was trying to call the person back, but it merged with him. So go on, please.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that if Mahama had a full 8 years, today we will not be sitting down here talking about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Because his achievements would have surpassed what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did. The man is visionary. The man is simply visionary. And you see, I did say this yesterday. All that is happening is as a result of the pain that our former president feels in his heart. And that's why God is punishing Ghanaians. This is what is happening. It's not just a mere happening. It is not just because of the wastefulness of Akufo-Addo. It is the punishment of God. When a good man has a heart, and
is that why you say he fell down on that platform?
God wanted to show us something. God wanted to show us something. And you see, you were asking about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Look, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was not hated by the people. You see, when Blair and Bush came out that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, everybody.
The person calling me with 757. Yeah, go on, Joe. Go on, Joe. I'm only saying the person calling me with 757. If you want to call later, because I've got Joe on the line, he hasn't landed yet, and so I want him to finish, and then you can call in place.
Yeah. Please, wait. Let me finish, please. I have a few minutes. Please, let me blow my house out. What I'm saying is that when people heard that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, everybody was going to be afraid. Everyone was going to be scared. So we all supported the Bush and the Blair to go and invade Britain or another America. Because those people have died for nothing. And that is what happened to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The same thing is what happened to Mahama. When they said he was family and friends, he has done this. He bought the house. Today. Do you know that 6 months into Akufo-Addo's government, the Sun newspaper did a publication about Akufo-Addo's daughter buying a house in London? Do you know that 6 months into Akufo-Addo's administration? 6 months. So the stealing started right from back. The back of the government, that is when the stealing started. Today. And you see, I did say that, look, we have all made mistakes in our lives before. In 2016, we all made a mistake. Me, in 2016, I wanted a change. I thought Ghanaians were talking so bad about Mahama. Let Mahama exist and let's do what Akufo-Addo would do. So we all made a mistake. There are some NDC people, GPP, Dr. Papa Kochimdum and the rest, they all supported Nana Akufo-Addo. Today, you can never be forgiven. And I'll pray to God, God will never forgive you if you still support Akufo-Addo.
You see, this is where you come in. If your opinion, keep it. If you say God will not forgive you if you support Akufo-Addo, I don't agree with you. But
it is only my prayer. It is only my prayer. And that is not to say God will listen to my prayer. Akufo-Addo had a prayer to build a cathedral to God. He came to say.
Well, let me react to what you started off with a view that there is nothing you can write home about with Akufo-Addo's policies. At least you're the very person who talks about the number of times he built the public lavatories as a toilet. I just don't want to say it, but can we at least applaud him for that? At least for one thing.
No, that is not synonymous with Akufo-Addo's government. It is synonymous with the NCC government. So that is not his achievement. Even before landmark achievement was golden toilet. Before landmark achievement was golden toilet. That is a fact. He pick money where he go. Everywhere you went in Ghana, he picked toilet funded by he picked. You see, we are not kids, we are not children. If we talk about development of Ghana, with the exception of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the next government that has developed Ghana is the NDC. Talk about rural electrification. You cannot write Rollins off.
Right. So let's look at now look at what
I am saying is that look, everybody has the right to belong to every association, and you know it. You have the right to belong to every association. But when you belong to the Armed Robbers Association, you are criminalized because that is not good.
Now look at what Segabo.
I'm building my point.
Okay.
I'm building my point. Everybody has the right to associations. But when you belong to the Armed Robbers Association, you could be arrested because it is not right. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So everybody has the right to support Nana Akufo-Addo and believe in Akufo-Addo and hold an opinion. But when what Akufo-Addo is doing is destroying Ghana, you are a nation wrecker if you support him. That is the point that I'm making.
Okay.
Because look, I have a right to eat. So if I see food in your house and I pick a gun to come and take that food, if I go to court, I will say, yeah, well, I have a right to eat. But at that point, the food I went to take was not mine. So you are a criminal. And so what I'm saying is that Akufo-Addo is destroying the country. So if you support him, you are aiding and abetting in the destruction of Ghana. And for that matter, you are an enemy to the state. And that is what I'm saying.
See, what I mean. Okay, what I mean is, I don't say you don't have the right to look at this in your view. What I've been saying is, the way you see it, somebody might not see the way you've broken it down as it is. Anyway, listen to what Segabo is saying. Let me read this. He said, who takes the blame for the bloody Arise Ghana demonstration? He started off saying, in one of William Shakespeare's famous works, Romeo and Juliet, there is a popular question that goes like, who is to blame for the unnecessary deaths in Romeo and Juliet? By the same token, who is to blame for the injuries during the Arise Ghana demonstration? Now, given what happened at Ayawaso, West Wagon in Ejura, one would have thought that demonstrators would have taken cue and exercise restraints in their dealings with the security forces. Now, joining the peaceful demonstration with stones and guns was a non-starter of demonstration. Demonstrators has worked under the police instructions quietly without any provocations. I wonder how anybody would have been hurt. Whatever grievances they had already.
This Bible you are reading is too long. This Bible I've always said.
Okay, let me just pick the point. Let me pick a point. It's too long. Yes.
Listen, Doc, with all due respect, it is your editorial policy or your media policy to read text message. But what is he trying to say? What happened in Nigeria?
I think it's breaking it down. Let me take a gist of that. Okay.
Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Please let me come in on this issue.
Okay, Joe.
And let's establish something very quickly.
Okay, Joe, 1 minute. Do you understand, Mr. Tekbe? Now, Mr. Tekbe want to react to this. 1 minute, please. Tekbe, you.
In a very
no, hold on, Mr. Tekbe. He says he's asking me a question. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me react. Let me answer you. Let me answer you. Yeah, you have no, stay on the line. Stay on the line.
I'm saying
1 minute. What I'm saying is with the your questioning as to why police, order a peaceful demonstration with guns, not in the UK, is because the way a manner Ghanaians, if you want, or blacks, not to raise any racial comments, but we have a way of doing demonstrations with guns and stones, as Mr. Gabo was trying to write. But here in the UK, is either they march with their placards raised up just to show, the concerns and what they're up to. And so,
can I ask you a question before you?
Unless you tell me what I'm saying, you don't agree with me. But this we don't often see.
In America, if you are 18 and above, you can buy a gun. Is that all right?
You can buy a gun. Yeah, why not?
Right?
Yes.
Is that all right? Ghana, do we sell guns to people just like that in America? And how many times that in America, that's holding a gun is your rightful right to do that? How many times have you seen protesters with guns? Let alone Ghana. Now you are coming to say in Ghana when we are supposed to hold guns. Who holds a gun in a demonstration in Ghana?
Not anyway. Not that we've seen of. What I know is stones and all that we do, but.
No, let us not defend what is not right. Let us not defend what is not right. And then, okay, fine. I admit that these demonstrators were holding guns. So, when Abu Faru was organizing for the person, he was having a pen. Is that not right? Well, I would even try to, whether justify or to say it is right or wrong, because the true bomb before Osama bin Laden was born.
Okay, let's listen to Mr. Okay, you wanted to listen to Mr. Degbe. Mr. Degbe, go on, please.
I just want to quickly say regarding Ejura. I mean, these are some of the things that I said when things like this happen. Security issues are not meant to be political. With certain incidents,
1 minute.
It then goes to indicate that we're not serious under this current administration.
Mr. Degbe, hold on, Joe. Can you listen while I call you back, because I can't put him on speaker. Okay, I'll call you back, sir. All right, thank you.
The person who did the deployment, who accepted that he deployed the armed unit to get to that scene, which is the Ashanti Regional Minister, should have lost his job immediately. It shows we're not serious. The report was done, it was hogwash. They were delving into things that was not in the scope of the inquiry. In the end, nobody knows now if Kaka's brother has been released. Nothing said. Everything is just going on as normal. You have to go back and punish people if you are serious, so that people do not toe the same line. these things have happened. People are in uniform. Some will say they are not police, some will say they are not army. They turned up, took aim, fired, alleging that they had been fired upon. We all know it's false. What has been done to the people that were involved in that incident and the person that gave the command? If we are going to assume that the deployees were just following instructions, the person who gave the instruction for them to go out, the Asante regional minister, was that his remit? Is that his job to send armed units to go and shoot people when they are wailing, mourning, expressing displeasure about another person that has been killed? This is why things like this will be going. Why do people arm themselves? You only arm yourself when you think there is imminent danger. You arm yourself when there is a fear. You arm yourself when there is a concern that you could come to harm. And in that doing, you might want to do something or have some kind of leverage. Now, earlier you mentioned something about the president not being praised. We need to understand that it's a job that he's being paid for. He's not doing anyone a favor. Like any other person in leadership position, you come to office, you get paid to do a job. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, with all the projects he executed, nobody heard him making any noise about Bank of Ghana Hospital, Dodowa Hospital, Trust Hospital, Tema Expansion Port, none of that. So if there is any praise to be given to the present administration, yes, it's about the noise they make, that when they put a poly tank or they even go by a gutter, they will take pictures and they will announce it. That is where I would say John Dramani Mahama failed. He did not broadcast what he was doing enough. He took it as part of his job and what he owed to Ghanaians to do. Now you said he should not be called a liar. He is a liar. A liar is somebody who says something that is not true, or something that he does not mean, or something that he says he's going to do and doesn't do. Protecting the public purse is one. Renting private jets, flying willy-nilly, I mean, that profligacy, it is not protection. So that makes him a liar. That's evidence-based. Unless, of course, anyone can say that the jets have not been rented. We have trails of where the plane has been rented. We have a state-owned jet that is not being used, whilst we are dishing our money to another company so that we could use their luxury jet just to attend meetings and fall asleep. We are wasteful. This is why we have problems. We keep referring to excuses of the Russian-Ukraine war, COVID-19. Ghana did not lose a penny for COVID. Ghana made money out of COVID. Ghana made money out of COVID. All the money that came in, that different leaders are coming out and making different breakdowns for, there is still a balance unaccounted for.
Okay.
It is just shameful that under the present administration, you find people that consistently try and disrespect the populace when they make statements. I'll cite an example. Ejapa Mensah made a statement that NDC is opposing the e-levy because they know it will win MPP the 2024 elections. How is that going? It is not a political levy. It is a levy imposed on citizens. It is oppressive, it is regressive. When people oppose it, listen to what they are saying. Come out with something factual. Come out with something theoretical, at least, that debunks what they are saying. Not lazy statements like this, just because you are a deputy minister, deserving or undeserving. But statements like this, they are full of arrogance, but it's towing the line of the president. Embrace e-levy to create more jobs. Pius Enam Haji. That's the gentleman that was involved in the visa scandal.
All right.
Akufo-Addo consistently rewards people who do wrong and gives them a higher position. So how are they going to go and do anything else? When the people were muzzled in and they said, GRA shamefully issued a statement in May. Implementation of e-levy has been very smooth so far. Okay? Why are we hearing different things now? Prime Minister is almost making a confession and singing from the top of the roof. E-levy is the solution to Ghana's employment. Joe Garte, January 31st.
That's a joke.
A member of parliament, Esipado Ketan. I mean, these are all verifiable pronouncements that have been made, that whether they go back and try and erase them or not, it's there. Now, Kennedy Japan, 22nd of February, only a failed government goes to IMF. MPP government has not failed. Really? We are members of the IMF. Why would a member of parliament, 4 terms or into the 5th term, make such an irresponsible statement? Everything is done and tried so hard line on the political line that it becomes embarrassing and a state of defense that nothing else makes sense. Talk tax word, e-levy won't fail. That's Osula Usu, 27th January. I mean, I say these things and I put them out there so that anybody that wants to go back to go and check, should check.
Okay.
Colonel Foyata made a statement that IMF is not an option. We are confident in homegrown recovery plan. What is the plan? Why is the plan a secret?
Let me, you've been on the show twice. Let me get Mr. Kofi Ali, who wants to react to all this. It's unfortunate he was trying to call the line. Yes.
If somebody could come on the line and maybe give us some insight into the 1 million jobs to the e-levy proceeds by John Kuma and the 11 million people that Oporiata said the e-levy proceeds will create. It is these kind of lies, blatant disrespect to the populace, that cause people to come out and demonstrate. People only express displeasure when something is going wrong. On 27th of January, Akufo-Addo himself said that accept e-levy, it will provide more jobs. Maybe he should include that in his next address to the state to give an update and reassure Ghanaians how that happened and how that the correlation between that and wasting money on his travel on private jets in this era that people are doing all they can to do meetings on Zoom, on Microsoft Teams, that only an African president would hire a plane to come to Europe or any other stronger country, come out in style, come and borrow money and use part of that money for his transport. It does not make any sense.
No.
So people will be out on the streets, not just this time. There's many more of these to come.
Anyway, let me get Mr. Kofi Ali's opinion. Krobia. Hello, Krobia, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, let me listen to Usucha, Mr. Usu, and then when I finish, I'll come back to Krobia. Sorry, Mr. Usucha, let me say line when it was calling me, it was jamming into another one. I didn't want to cut the person, but
I know
Mr. Tegbe and Joe was on the line. So you're live on there, sir. I believe, thank you for accepting, the patience that I kept you on.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, sir.
All what Joe and Mr. Tegbe was saying, there's something like, I need to summarize it and then just put it out there. It's a joke of the side. I heard he was calling from Ghana.
Okay.
When I took the call, he said, "Oh, it's a string call, so why are you calling me?"
Okay.
Mr. Ivan, I thought when they introduced me, I'm going to provide roads, infrastructure, job for Ghanaian, but they couldn't meet what they call it, the target, so only 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm coming to you for a help.
Zolibo?
Yes.
It's getting very funny.
Oh, yes. we always need a joke.
Yes.
In 2016,
Uh-huh.
Ghanaians thought that Akufo-Addo, as an old man, would come and fight corruption, see the leakages in all sectors, including ministries, agencies, departments, district assemblies, to push the private sector to a certain level. And now you can see the man has failed.
Okay.
The last time when I came on your show, I said, you cannot come as a president, appoint your cousin as finance minister, and then collapse the private sector like banking sector like about 12, 8, 9, 4 banks.
Yeah.
Which is local banks, because they have employed about, in Ghana, it's like estimated that about 275 gathering.
Okay.
Like youth gathering from tertiary institutions. And where are they going? Most of them will find out themselves in the private sector.
Shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. Some will be working at the banking sector and other like construction companies, blah 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 blah. But all these banks,
I mean, since I came in this country, I didn't know that the private sector is pushing the government. I didn't know until I came in this country, because I thought, every country or every government, the government employ more, but it was a lie. Not knowing it was a private sector. So if you can see GM Bank, Heritage Bank, and other banks, when I was coming to Ghana, GM Bank had about 200 branches across the country.
Yeah, Mr. Kufiali, stay on the line 1 minute, please. I want to get back to you, please. Yeah, but please hold on. I'll get back to you one minute.
After you finish your message, just hang up. Or to hear more options, please press.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Mr. Ocean.
Okay. So you can see GM Bank, because I was living in Sunyane. I went to remote areas, some district, and you can see GM Bank have branches about 4, 5, 6 staffs, including security. So you can see people are getting money and put on their life, feeding their family. So when you come to power and you collapse these banks, you have to bring some money, they set up some system, I forgot. Now they give GM Bank about 30 days to come and bring this money. If you don't bring the money, you collapse our bank, then you pull the bank was in GM Bank. Just like that. And the finance minister's data bank, when we go for loan, that bank is financial advisor to the finance ministry. Can you imagine this?
I cannot.
This is serious.
It is.
And we've been looking for this nobody's talking. And since they came to power about 5 years, 5 years now, they've got about $77 billion, including loans, taxes, oil revenue, $77 billion.
Yes.
If you ask them, where is the money? It's because of Russia and Ukraine war that started just 2 months ago.
Now, let me reflect this attitude of accounting for money loss, especially within our coffers. What do you think the government needs to do, especially if we take over power, to people who cannot account for money? I think it's always been the jail terms, like we saw Kufuor jailing, what's his name, Kwame Pepra, and then Victor Salome and all that. You think the government is on its toes with this accountability?
Can you imagine when they were in position, the song we talk about force like that?
Yeah, because they should scare people from squandering the government's money.
Yeah, talk about bad branding. So now, can you compare? Yes, there was corruption under John Dramani Mahama because he wasn't a saint. NDC wasn't a saint. NDC wasn't a saint. There was. So have you asked yourself, when these people came to power now, they are in power for about 5 years. They have never ever prosecuted any one person in previous administration. Are you not surprised? Are you not surprised that they spoke against Ameri? And then they further issue executive power to extend Ameri deed to $1.2 billion. So when Ghanaian questioned him, he said, he was misled. Are you not surprised?
I am, yes.
Are you not surprised? I'm not surprised about these people. They spoke against procurement, like procurement issues, like I forgot all these terms.
NABCO?
Yeah, procurement issues. They spoke about it a lot. So now, are you not surprised that the head of the Procurement Authority, ABIJ, established his own company and awarded a contract to himself and sold it? Are you not surprised? Are you not surprised that?
Okay, well, as to whether I am surprised or not, that will be left for my own opinion. But I don't want to put it across in the public.
I'm just saying it because these people, like Ronaldo, it's like he was a key soap. and was packaged as iPhone for us in 2016.
Right. You have 3 minutes now to land, Mr. Oshi,
Yeah,
and then I'll get Mr. Kofi Ali. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I don't know. I say you have 3 minutes to land. I'm not saying you should land.
Okay. So the danger ahead of us, we don't know what is coming.
We pray. We will pray.
Yeah. So it seems criminals are holding our destiny. This is serious. I've been talking about Kenneth Frater. How can he appoint investment banker who was accused taking money from Ghana to a tax-saving country?
You think he should go?
You know it, yeah. So,
well, this is what Mr. Ablakwa suggested. You also agree with him. Is that what it is?
So you remember in 2016, this issue. When I talk about this, people don't know. Do you know that Kenneth Frater went for a loan in Amalgamated Bank and used the MPP national headquarters as collateral? Do you know it?
We heard.
Well, you see what?
He wasn't MPP national executive member. He's just supporting his cousin as presidential candidate and used the MPP national headquarters as collateral for loan.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yes. From Amalgamated Bank. And when they came to power, the bank wrote to MPP national headquarters, hey, you owe us about 5 years, we cannot pay the money. Give the money. And this issue came up. Oh, then he came, it was me who did that. This is coming out. And then the man is now holding our finance ministry. So what will happen to us? Stealing, criminal activities, procurement. A lot is going on.
It is well.
Can you front be free? Finance ministry, and never be PP. It's like a punchini, was having a rough.
A punching one, you will it.
Thank you. Doctor.
Thank you very much. Let me summarize what Joe stopped me from reading because Mr. Gabo's writing was quite too long. Thank you, sir. Let me get final and then I come to Mr. Kofi Ali. And then he said, but let me just summarize. He said, by all means, go on demonstration. By all means, go on now demonstration. But it is not the noise and machoism that will turn. Oh, Krobia is trying to. Okay, let me.
You're approaching the maximum allowed time for recording a message.
Okay.
If you wish to record further, please choose the append option.
Sorry. Let me get Mr. Kofi Ali so that he come on. Mr. Kofi Ali has not spoken today. I'm trying to get everyone to do it. I only hope I get him so that. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Oh, hello, how are you?
I'm not very happy with the words being used for my president this morning. He's being called an atrocious leader and all that.
Yes.
Criminal.
A criminal and all that.
It is expected.
This is my president, Mr. Kofi Ali.
Yes. It is expected because all of us, we are, I don't think we are aware of the situation in which we have found ourselves. And we have some few people who call themselves politicians. I call them selfish, very, very selfish. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. You know what they are doing?
Unless you tell me, sir.
They are taking advantage of our hopeless situation of the masses for a political purpose.
500 meters.
The question you ask yourself, what is the condition of Ghanaians today? And the answer is very bad. Is that not true? It's bad. So they want a change. Is that not true? And the change has something to do with the government we end up with. Is that not true? And therefore, the political parties
will be interested in mobilizing the people so that there will be change. But when this change is going to happen, who are going to be those that we are changing for? We are talking about Setepe, John Dramani Mahama, and they are like Sami Jessica. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
Are they not the same people who were voted out of office 8 years ago? Have you forgotten why they were voted out of office? The debt is rising. Is that not true? There is violence in the country. There is crime in the country. There is insecurity in the country. There is pain and prices are going up. Do you remember very well?
Oh, yeah.
In fact, it was bad that there's no even light. Well, who is sabotaging the electricity? We don't know. But the electricity was not even working. People are sitting down, no jobs. The same people, they are claiming to be our saviors today. And who do they want to replace? They want to replace Kumi Preko. Can you see?
That's crazy. It's scary.
They want to replace those who are saying their life is so bad that they would rather die. That's the meaning of Kumi Preko. They would rather die than to have another one day under John Dramani Mahama. You remember very well. The question we never ask is that, is this a demonstration, a peaceful demonstration as our constitution said, or is a violent demonstration? Now, the demonstration itself, do you know there was an allegation of someone who had a gun at the demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
Good. And so, now, there were, you see the way the people dress, you see the way they are, you see how aggressive they are. Yes, there's a reason to be aggressive. Do you remember the demonstration we had for which we had independence? Do you know Kwame Nkrumah's independent demand? Hey, do or die. Do you remember very well? Go back.
You weren't born.
Kwame Nkrumah's independent.
Mr. Dupont said I was not born. Mr. Dupont said I was not born.
Because me too, I was barely 1 year, but I read the history. We all have history there. It was so bad that the option Kwame Nkrumah is having, there was a clip in his conversation with Zik. He said, we are ready to go to war than to sit down under this oppressive rule. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
Now we have independence how many years now? When the NDC, when the Rawlings was coming into government, Rawlings came by violence. Don't forget that one. Hello?
We are here.
Rawlings himself replaced people who took over government by violence. So our nature, for somehow, our protest and demonstration, you understand, is traditionally violent. Only, what are we going to do? We want to have election, isn't it?
We do, yes.
And at the end of the election, we want to change government. Is that not true?
Exactly.
So that our life can be better. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
We've done this for almost 200 times, and our brain is not telling us something is wrong with us.
What is wrong with us, sir?
I have always said, you see, NDC did not bring this hardship to Ghana. NPP did not bring the hardship to Ghana. You understand? In fact, the European colonizers did not bring the hardship. They only came to take advantage of it. The problem was there before we know now. We are just born to be a generation that have to face it now. You understand me? The problem in Ghana cannot be solved by Ghana. Why do we have a problem? Russia and Ukraine are fighting and they say we cannot eat. We can't have petrol. Don't you have common sense to understand what's wrong? What is our business in Ukraine? Can't you see they call our leaders like chicken and they run away and go and come? Did you see the video I sent on how people were beaten on Morocco?
It's so sad. So sad.
What are we talking about? Do you know that with this Ghana embassy, are you saying there are no Ghanaians in those people who are beaten?
That's what people are saying. But
did the Ghana embassy in Morocco ask them that we want to see if they are our citizens there and want to have a word with them? Did they ask them? It means, remember, the same people who are saying that we who are cleaning toilet in London and across Europe, we are called diasporians. We remit close to £2 billion dollar to the African continent. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So we are value for money. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't send money to your mother, you might be sending to your sister or to somebody who is dear to your heart. Or you may want to buy a land in Ghana. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
They get your dollar. They get your pound sterling. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
These people who are going to Europe, is that not how we all came one way or the other?
Mm.
When they get into Europe, will not be sending the money that will be part of the billions they get in our name?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Ghana High Commission has not even asked Nigeria asked this one as account to us. So it means we are only useful when we are successful, when we are able to cross the sea and the desert and everything, and we don't die, we get here. We are useless. They disown us when we are in the desert dying. They don't care. Can you see how it's connected? The hardship that you see today was there is not new. These political hooligans, I call them, they are very selfish. They are not addressing the issue. Tell me how much, and I start setting on air today. I want to ask him.
Is that the guy there?
What job he said?
Oh, he's not. He's gone. He's not on the line. I wanted to ask him if he's here.
What job does he do in Ghana? He will tell you he's a consultant. Remember, he was a former finance minister, isn't it?
No, this is not the very Mr. Setepe you're talking about. This is Tegbe. This is Tegbe.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing the two because we've been having one of them come in and he boasts of his economic English is perfect. Most of them, can you imagine Ghanaians telling us today, and that voice is coming from the NDC side, that we should go to IMF by force. Do you know what this IMF is all about? What they do, the money they took from the IMF, have you asked them what they did with it? Have you ever asked them the debt they left before they left government? That these ones have also come and they are looting. Do you see the victims here? They are Ghanaians. It is you and I, the ordinary man on the street. They are only selfish people. Now, if you are DC are saying we should go and take the loan, is that not what they are saying?
Yes, sir.
That they support taking the loan. That is the NDC side. For which the NPP say no, they are not taking it. Is that not true?
Mm.
The NDC in their time borrow and borrow and borrow. That nobody wants to borrow them, so they went to the Europeans and they started now carrying what we call what do you call it? Euro bonds. Have they forgotten? John Mahama said we have short memories. You remember?
I do.
The Euro bond, they went to borrow and borrow from Europeans because nobody wanted. They went to all dodgy banks borrowing just to show up their CD. The CD became useless. I remember. We were told the evil ones. You remember the Adope were those who are making the value of the city go down. That was when NDC was in government. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, what solution do these people have when they are coming? We said, listen to me. We said NDC didn't cause this problem. They just met it, and somebody have to find a way to go around it because somebody have to govern Ghana. You understand? Ghanaian. And NDP did not cause it. The problem is there. And we say we are only solving half the problem. Half the problem is part of the problem collectively in West Africa. If Ghanaians that the NDC and NPP believe in to vote for their members of parliament to go to Ghana, that we can have someone like Samoku Dato Ablakwa talk from his heart. Aruna Idrisu, my hero, talk from his heart. Can you see? Even Sam George talk from his heart against what is. Why can't we believe in voting for those who have full-time job in ECOWAS to do their own too? Why is it so difficult for these imbeciles? Because they are not the problem. Can you see?
Okay.
They are not interested in that one. They want to take us to IMF. Do you know that Bangladesh or one of these countries, Sri Lanka, they are on their knees. Their economy is finished. It's finished. And the people on the street fighting, the Ghanaians are fighting. We are not fighting. They are fighting for independence. This is not democracy. Democracy is not like this. Democracy is not madness. Some people didn't go with their juju. Did you see them?
Okay.
Market women, almost naked, on the street sweating. What is this democracy? And where do you see this kind of democracy?
But
We said, let us have the
Mr. Kofi Ali, Mr. Tegbe is back. Mr. Tegbe, Mr. Kofi Ali was asking your question. If you're back, are you there?
Okay, sorry, I lost connection for a minute. Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Question, or can you repeat it for me?
Yeah, if you want to repeat it for Mr. Tegbe, who was Mr. Kofi Ali, Mr. Tegbe is back, please.
I was asking if he's the one who was the finance minister. I know that's the finance minister, isn't it?
No, he's not.
If this one is not the finance minister, then probably it's not even part of the authority in the past government.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
These are those from behind. They are coming to get the opportunity to. Can you see?
Yes,
because
sir.
most of those in NDC, go and check. They are taking contract from the NPP. You go and check.
Mr. Tegbe, do you agree you're taking contracts from NPP?
So what is the actual question?
Okay, so you remember I sent you something about Mahama, if you remember.
Okay.
This is Mr. Kofi Ali who wrote that. And then he doesn't see any difference between the MPP and the NDC. He thought it's the same repetitive way of governance.
Okay.
Is it true?
I can't hear. Mr. Tepe talking. I can't hear what he's saying.
No, he's now coming to talk. He hasn't said anything yet. You stay on the line.
I mean, when we are being serious and I hear things like that, sometimes it baffles me when people make the equalization statement and say they don't see any difference. It baffles me even the more. But like I always say, results cannot be hidden. Results at any time cannot be hidden. You can suppress the truth, but it will always come to light. How are they the same?
Hello.
Whatever he's alleging.
Yes.
You look around now.
Then I should continue to talk, isn't it?
I think, Mr. Okay, when you finish, then I'll answer Mr. Kofi Ali because he doesn't seem to hear you.
I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah, he can't hear you. So, Mr. Kofi Ali, you finish, and I'll tell him what the question you said. Yeah, you finish, and then I'll tell him what your question was.
Oh, it's good to hear my question myself.
Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot blend the line, so he can't.
We cannot hear from the horse's mouth. You may twist the question. I want him. You understand? Because the last time we have one of them who was on air, and he was saying the justification for why we should go for IMF. Ghana, understand? It's like a drunkard, somebody who is an alcoholic dependent. Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
When you lend money to such a business in time of crisis, that money will be spent on alcohol. The IMF is not there to finance, like it was Simon who was explaining this the last time.
Okay.
It is not. When a working economy, not a dying, a sick economy, a working economy, you understand?
Yeah.
Is struggling. You understand? Maybe they need just some quick intervention. Then you can go to IMF and quickly you remove yourself from it. You understand?
Okay, sir.
That is what you need. IMF is not there to manage anyone's economy for them. Those criminals who are managing the ones you have in West Africa and African continent, they are just a separate. We call it Merrill Lynch. You understand? The Uber owners. They are businessmen. It's not. They are just like fronting. When you go to IMF, right? You pay insurance. There are so many dodgy money they take from you. And because you put yourself into that crisis, the purpose of the IMF, you understand, is just to help. You understand? Their job is to monitor and ensure that the global economy, which depends on financial activities, is done with what? With dignity. You understand what I'm saying? is sanitized. That's all they are doing. Central banks are working independently. The banks are working independently. Politicians are not unnecessarily influencing decisions. Are not supposed to be for. It's just like FIFA. You understand? FIFA. That exactly is what you have here. Football should be done decently with dignity. But right now, these people have turned this IMF into their family business. It means we are something else. IMF is not designed for that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If we are then having the NDC coming on the table before even now, because from what Sedepo was saying, that nobody can stand election in Ghana if it's not NDC, because MPP is the alternative. Check the two of them very well. Anytime they are in government, what do you think they are doing? They are enriching themselves, making themselves enrich. When election comes, it becomes the game of money. Do you know how much it costs you to take a phone from EC for a candidate? Where do we get the money from? So it's all about the highest bidder. Can you see? It's about them. It's not about us.
All right, Mr. Ofiali. So, yes.
When they come into government, it becomes difficult for them to arrest each other. When last did you hear the arrest? Even the one they did with Chikata. They just released it because it's the same. It's the same. They are the same. So they shouldn't tell us anything new.
Yes, sir.
Because I think this is going on.
Yeah, if
yes.
you want to talk, let him talk too.
Yes. Simon, I heard you mention his name about some of his submissions he made last week. And then I'm sure he wanted to react to that. My only problem is that I'm not able to blend the line. So you can only hear him when you drop the line.
Why that makes a bit noisy? I just wanted
Yeah, because your place is a bit noisy as well. I've not heard from yes, Mr. Chairman Yosen. So what I'm going to do is Mr. Gofiali, if you listen, if you call back, we're here till 1 o'clock. We still have about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll get Chairman Yosen.
I'll listen to everyone's submission because this Ghana thing, it is time we start winning ourselves from it.
Yeah.
We don't have
anybody who comes in, I try to give him knowledge. Yes. I try to give.
For 70 years, they did nothing. We want another way to approach it, and it's not going to be only in Ghana anymore. We are dealing with the Chinese, we are dealing with the Americans, we are dealing with the Russians. We want to go the big way.
Yeah, he's ending. He's ending, and then I'll call you back, please. You're still on the line. All right, Mr. Gofiali, thank you very much for your submission. Okay, Mr. Odupong.
Yeah.
You heard Mr. Kofiali. He doesn't see any difference between the NDC and then the NPP.
Well, I mean, Kofi Ali is not the only Ghanaian who feels that way. There are many Ghanaians who don't see a difference between the NDC and the NPP.
Dr. Morton.
Good morning, Chairman Yosen.
And how are you?
I'm not too bad at all. We've had a lot of submission. The line is packed with about 20 people.
Yes,
The topic is very sensitive, and I find some of the submissions very. Oh dear! First of all, Chairman, you're welcome to the program this morning as a Newsfile UK. We've got a summary of the whole week events, but the most topical one is the demonstration, the Rise Ghana, which is getting a very tough here. But if we at least see that there's no difference between the NDC and the NPP. A thing we've had over the years, the same repetitive governance, and the things we need a different perspective. Do you share the same sentiments with me?
Yes, I do, and I'll say good morning or hello to Kofi Ali. We are thinking about Ghana first, not even political parties, and also we are considering Ghanaian governments past and the present. I will agree with Mr. Ali that there is no difference. The same problems keep cropping up from period to period, and it is about time that it stopped. And one sad thing in Ghana is that we are being run by NDC or NPP. All these two parties have been in existence for a very, very long time. Now, concerning Ghanaians, it's about time that we thought again for another party to get involved. Not even to take over, but to get involved. In any sensible situation, if there are more than two parties, it helps. It happens in our human situation. Two people and three people, three men or three women are different from two. Two are best friends. They cover each other. But if a third mind or third person or political party comes in, it's sanitized and common sense prevails because discussions become widened and I think it goes in the best interest of any situation, whether it's a company or a country. And so must it be with Ghana. I'm saying this because my political party, that is called Progressive People's Party, we have been there for 10 years, saying the same things, observing the same mistakes being made by NDC or NPP. They get away with it because we are not popular, because they have not voted for us. But this time, we are started making very big noises for us to be regarded and noted and acknowledged and accepted. So the conversation in Parliament or in governance will be more sensible than these two friends. Yeah, MPP is a friend of NDC and vice versa. We will never get anywhere without a third or fourth or fifth party coming inside. And so the message is that people must now listen to Progressive People's Party because we've got progressive ideas. We've got ideas that NPP has stolen. They stole two big ideas from Progressive People's Party. One is the free SHS. It's not them, it's us who started it. Because if you really we should have been fully compliant with provision of the free SHS by the year 2004 or latest 5. But it didn't happen because NDC and MPP disregarded the provision, the Article 38 of the Constitution. They turned a blind eye on it until in 2012. 2012, when my party was formed, because we think about Ghana, we introduced that straight away in our manifesto. And then at that time, he was a presidential candidate. He copied that idea. That's why MPP is now introducing it. But we started it, Progressive People's Party, because we read the Constitution, we understood it, and we really were ready to implement it from the year 2013. That is, after 2012 elections, the 2013, any government that comes in, we said we will implement it from September 2013. So when NPP saw that, they said, yeah, that was a good idea. NDC didn't think it was good, but Nanado thought it was good. That's why they are forced to implement it. But then, they even are having problems with it, but it's better than no free SHS at all. It's PPP who introduced it. You see? So we should come into the equation. Now that we are having so many problems in Ghana, Arise Ghana and all that, it is telling us something simple that, Dr. Morton, the people, the children are not happy.
Oh dear.
In our own homes, if you go to work and come and your children are on the streets protesting against you and your wife, you will say, what's going on? You say, Dad, we have not eaten. We are struggling. We are starving. But you must listen to your children and give them what they want. So what I'm saying, we are saying, PPP is saying that, now to sit these ladies and gentlemen of the Arise Ghana down in Flagstaff House or Jubilee House and have good conversation with them and understand where their problems are. You will find out one, unemployment. Almost all of them already know the street, they are unemployed. In fact, if you are employed, for instance, bank cashier, they wouldn't have time to jump on the street, come Nkrumah Circle to be shouting. Because you are employed, at least they pay you. But these people, they are not employed. They are not paid. They are graduates or undergraduates or illiterates or whatnot. They are all human beings. They form part of Ghana. They vote. So these people have voted for you. You have given them wrong promises. You have cheated them. That's why they are frustrated. And right now, after frustration comes fixation. They are fixated. They are fixated. They want to demand better conditions now, not later on. That's how they've got onto the street. And if they go onto the street, the Ghana government cannot even control that. The Ghana police service cannot control them. Cannot. They are even not professional. Because the easiest job to do for the police service is to guide and guard a demonstration on the street, because we got Public Order Act. Public Order Act. And in Ghana, in the UK, everywhere, USA, there's a public order that regulates movement in society. Where 2 or 3 or more people meet, it is a crowd. And therefore, they meet in the public place. It forms a crowd. That's why the Public Orders Act controls all these. Before you can jump on the street, you must go through the motions and get authorization, which they did. They got authorization or approval to go ahead and demonstrate. While doing so, let me say a sensible government, a responsible Ghana government must call the responsible police service that has even got a PhD as their IGP. That is not a small joke. If the Inspector General of Police is a PhD, my God, he knows all the things in the world. He's got all the brains in the world.
But Chairman, I think the police must have responded in that manner, especially when they decided to, go off track. Because before they started, the police had put in measures as to how they have to go about it against their guidance. And so I don't know how come it got to that nasty stage where people have to be hurt and injured and all of that. Mr. ODUPONG, because I'm sure the people couldn't take it anymore. It got to a point where Ethiopia and all that.
No, Dr. Morton, I was coming to that point. Interesting.
Okay.
I was coming to that point. Fact is that, one, the police must be professionals. That's what I'm saying. Even their top guy is a PhD. He's not an idiot, or he's not an ordinary idiot. He's a PhD.
I think this morning the words we have to curb it a little down, because I make sure the words. I don't want to be
maybe my understanding of the language, an idiot is somebody who does anything haphazardly. But if you've got a boss who's a PhD person, my goodness me, he's perfect. He's perfect. It's up there, so he can guide, he can instruct, and of course, guard his people to do the right job. A police, the easiest job to do for a policeman, police service, is to observe a peaceful demonstration. That is, if they are properly trained police force or police service.
I think it gets to a point, things seems to get out of hands.
If it gets out of hand, it means, excuse me, they are not useful. They are hopeless, police people. Can you imagine that we are a Republic of Ghana, and people coming from outside, from Burkina Faso or Ivory Coast or Togo into Ghana, and for Ghanaians to run away, the Ghana police to run away? No, police must stand and defend. Police together with the military must stand together and protect and defend Ghana. But right now, if a small minority, small aggrieved people on the streets arise Ghana, if you cannot control them, can you control Ivorians and Togolese who come into Ghana? They can take over Ghana. That's what I'm talking about. They can take over Ghana. That's what I'm talking about. It happened about 2016 to 2017. Somebody from Ivory Coast, came in a helicopter. He landed inside Ghana, Hafasni area. He landed there, even the villagers were running away.
Oh dear.
He was a white man in the helicopter, jumped into Ghana. According to him, he strayed into Ghana by mistake. And what was the Ghana Defense Forces? They were not there. They were all sleeping in Accra.
Okay, Chairman, you've also spoken between 12 and 15 minutes. That's what I try to give everyone. So you have 3 minutes to land, please.
Okay, all I'm saying is that the police have failed Ghana. And Mr. Kufuor must wake up. He must not sleep anymore. He must wake up and charge those who's got the charge. He must charge Mr. Dampare. But why is he not doing his job properly? Mr. Dampare, the blame goes to Mr. Dampare and it transfers to the head of state. Mind you, Minister of Defense and all that, they are all involved. They cannot handle Ghana. So he's telling you that if a few Al-Qaeda terrorists or Boko Haram people come to Ghana, Ghana will be taken over easily. If a small crowd in the streets of Accra, we cannot control them. We are the police service. We've got guns and all that. If we can't do the job, bring the military to come and help you. Ghanaians, we are abiding citizens. We obey. We trust and obey. But right now, we are over-obeying. We are over-obeying because people are not, it's not like UK. It's not a welfare state like civilized countries. If you don't work, it's up to you and your God. If you don't eat, to hell with you, excuse me, nobody cares. But in the UK, if you're starving, they will give you food. At least they'll give you a place to sleep. They'll give you food to eat, a little money each week. They'll give you the dole. In Ghana, there's no dole. So when the people are angry, they are seriously, brutally angry. Then we know ourselves. We are all Ghanaians. So Mr. Kufuor is sleeping. He must come out even to talk about this.
Okay, Chairman, thank you very much for such a submission. It's an incredible one. I was going to ask you what your intentions are when it comes to, the education system from the old system to the JSS or the SS that seems to still be in shambles, because I don't understand how people will sit at home and then go back to school. Probably their minds will be faded. But thank you very much. Yeah, go on, your final word, and then let me pick.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, education must be a continuing program. It's not a piecework in a factory where we are fixing things and we have overproduced. Then we say, look, let's take a break because we got so much products to export. Then that is different. Education must be continuing, must be constant, so that at the end of the day, we got the right crop of people to take over leadership of our country.
Okay, thank you.
So if education is a piecemeal, I think it's not very healthy for all of us in Ghana.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, dear. Sorry. Simon, good morning. Hello, Simon. Is it not Simon?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. That's why I was calling you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, great. I'm listening to yourself, Mr. Dupont, and the other panelists who've come and spoken before me. And a special greeting goes up to Tegbe and also for doing a great work for Mother Ghana this morning or this afternoon. I just wanted to come in very quickly to correct some misinformation that is being put out there, or let me say, if it's not deliberate, it is something that is not correct, which needs to be corrected. Kofi Ali, I know Kofi Ali, I've known him for a long time. He's a Pan-Africanist. He loves Africa and he wants all of us to come together and all of that. But unfortunately, I think sometimes this Pan-Africanism is not allowed.
Yes, Mr. Tegbe, still online. Simon is on the other line, please.
If you look at these individual countries, the way you should be looking at them. Ghana, yes. You see, Kofi Ali is saying NDC is encouraging the government to go to the IMF program. And I'm happy he said a good thing about the IMF and all the bad things about the IMF. What I want Kofi Ali to understand is that when NDC went to the IMF in 2015, around 2015, 2016, or 2013, whatever, I don't remember the exact year. Let it be clear on record that NDC did not take even a peso from the IMF. So I probably saying they haven't even accounted for the money they took from the IMF. NDC did not go to the IMF for money. We didn't go to take a look. NDC went to the IMF to comply with what do you call it? A prudent way of running the economy as the IMF will provide. It also, I'm looking for austerity. That's the word I'm looking for. NDC went for an approval of an austerity program. NDC did not. Remember when they said the NDC went there and they couldn't employ for years? I hope you remember that.
Yes,
they couldn't employ for years.
Yes.
All of them. Because what they want to agree with the IMF was that the public sector is too large. We keep employing and employing. Productivity was not commensurate with the number of people that were in there. So we needed to bring down the size of government and the size of the public sector to the level of production, so that we're not just paying people. I'm sure you heard the government has said recently who came under a lot of public criticism for saying that a lot of Ghanaians are earning more than what they should earn, and that we're paying people to do nothing. I hope you heard that.
Yes, sir.
Recently.
What is he? Mr. Kofi Ali's problem is the way some of the problems you accuse the NPP of is not too far from what you put.
No, if you allow me, you'll understand, and you see there's a complete difference. First of all, anybody who tells you that there's no difference between NDC and NPP, number one, there's two things. Either he's a disappointed NPP person, or he's deliberately refusing to see the difference. Because there's the difference between the NPP and the NDC is the difference between heaven and hell. It is so clear, even the blind can see. Okay? So when NDC went to the IMF, NDC did not go there to take money. Let that be on record and Kofi Ali to understand. NDC did not go there to take money. Okay. IMF is very important. We're not saying the NPP should go to IMF because we don't wish them well. We're saying that the economy has got to a point where if we do not begin to cut down on public spending and we go on the way we are going on, the economy will collapse. So as well-meaning Ghanaians, it is with sincerity and patriotism that the NDC is urging the NPP government to go and save the country and save the economy from collapse. It should not be that because the NDC is saying it, it is with some sinister motive that they are saying it. When the NPP goes to the IMF, all these other wasteful expenditures that are going on, all this COVID-19 expenditure spending that they refuse for the parliament to investigate, all these other transactions that are going on that nobody understands, the IMF will say, you know what? Because every single public transaction that you're going to engage on will have to be subjected to accountability and transparency measures. That is all about it.
Okay.
That is what the NDC is asking for. So you're saying that under the NDC, we went for that program, and we don't want for the program, but as soon as the NDC was leaving office, the economy has picked up. It was doing better. We've got our public sector, our public sector workers in the size that we need. It wasn't complete yet, but we saw progress that was coming and all of that. Now, come to talking about prosecution, all of that. I am telling you that after I speak with you today, Tati Chikata, lawyer Tati Chikata, who was sentenced, you're old enough, and I know you need the back and forth that went on. Lawyer Tati Chikata was not put into prison for any wrongdoing in government. He was virtually put in prison because President Kufuor at the time had vowed that he would put NDC people to prison. And that was the reason why when Asamoah became president and was bringing this Jamonka, that is why Ronnie fell out. That is why Ronnie fell out with Asamoah big time, and you know it. So don't let us get the impression that these people were jailed and all of that. They were not jailed for I mean, the Very Rights Project, okay? The Very Rights Project for which what do you call it? Pan-Bifra and the Agric Minister Ibrahim Adam at the time. Was it Ibrahim Adam? Ibrahim, I forgot that. I think it was Ibrahim. I got Ibrahim Adam, so Ibrahim was Muhammad, whatever. The Agric Minister and the Rolex, yeah? He was jailed for the Very Rights Project. As I speak to you today, Dr. Moses, if you have anybody from the, and I'm happy, if you have anybody from the Volta region, I was going to tell you about somebody from Volta region, how you know that. I'll leave that out. If you have anybody from the Volta region, let them go to Aveime and confirm to you, at the time that these people were standing trial, Aveime Rice Project was producing rice. You know when Muhammad came, he said we're going to reduce the importation of rice by half because we spend, I think, about $5 billion or so to import rice. Aveime Rice Project is one of the rice production areas that was producing so much and is still producing so much rice. The problem is that we don't tend to look at this and we do the politics of it and then we move on and nobody's really interested. If you go to the Bosa region state, they produce more than half of the local rice produced in Ghana. And the rice project is one of them. Somebody was sent to prison for political reasons because of this thing. And so I want to put on record that the people that Kofo put to prison were political trials. That is why when he gave Tetuti Kata pardon, Tetuti Kata rejected it and said that no, I don't deserve a pardon. I haven't done anything wrong in the first place. Today, NPP are saying that if they have known that this is how oil price was going to go high, they would have hedged. And the wrong Tetuti Kata did as CEO of GMPC was to undertake hedging. And I'm sure Dr. Moses, you know how hedging. You look at the price of a product and think that okay, before this price hits the roof, let me say that we're having an agreement. I'm going to pay $10 for the next 2 years, regardless of how the price goes up and all of that.
Look at what Kofi Ali to both you, Simon, and Mr. Tegbe. He said, what about Mahama, who denied he took a car that later turned out he did? And they all thieves. They are all thieves. You saw. I sent it to you. I sent that to you, didn't I?
No. I mean, listen to me. You see, this is part of the. Sometimes we those who think we want to sanitize the system or we must also begin to decipher when people are doing propaganda in the TV. When they did the handing over of state assets to the new government, okay? When the national, there's a national, there's somebody at the national level who does calculation of the national. I'm trying to remember.
No, Simon is trying. Mr. Tegbe is reminding you of it. Can you hear Simon? Okay, can you hear Tegbe?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, he can't hear you. Okay, so if you.
All right, let me carry on. Let me carry on and finish, and then you can come.
Okay, you can come
back on another line.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when they did the assessment, the car that they said Muhammad had taken, and that it was a bribe given to him, I am sure you are aware, on record, public record, that the car was in the presidential pool of cars. Dr. Moses, are you aware of that or you are not? Did you hear that or not? It was confirmed by Manasseh Azura Awile, who did that investigation on the fourth expedition of John Mahama, that the car that was given to John Mahama was not given to John Mahama as a person.
He said it himself. John Mahama himself said it. And he said what you're saying. He explained that.
And so, Dr. Moses, and there was even a record that President Rawlings, who was even the past president, has received similar cards and has put them under the pool of presidential vehicles. President Kofo, who was the former president, has collected such similar cards, gifts, and has put them in the. John Mahama never. Let's be on record. John Mahama never took a car bribe from anybody. The car was given to the state of Ghana. It was received by the ambassador of Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, I think Burkina Faso. It was received by. These are all public records. Why does Kofi Ali, who is supposed to know all these things, talking like this?
Okay,
and
Simon. Let me get Tegbe on. You're speaking quite lengthy.
So let's Kofi Ali, if you listen to us, understand that what he's saying.
I hope he comes back. But thank you for that record, for you, the car issue, for that one. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Tegbe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go on.
Okay. I hope I don't duplicate anything because I couldn't hear what Simon said.
Simon was trying to explain that car issue that Mama to Coach Mama. You remember that? And then Kofi Ali was saying that they're all thieves, both the NDC and the NPP. He's not particularly saying one particular. And then Simon was saying that the difference between NDC and NPP is like heaven and earth or dark and light and all something like that.
Does Kofi Ali know where that car currently is?
Not that I know, since it's not online. He said he was going to call back, but whatever it is, I'm sure he's listening on the radio. Yes.
Yeah, that's a question that I'd want him to speak about when it comes in. Also, in his write-up, he made a reference that the huge debt that Ghana has is as a result of the Euro bond that was taken by September. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. How much of the Euro bond that was taken by September You know, these are the things that I say are quite sad when we make lose.
Well, if you think they don't do much research and comes up with inaccurate
yeah, but you cannot write a statement and accuse somebody. If I come on your show and doctor, I want to call you a thief, I have to be able to back it with saying that I came to your studio and you took my phone and you took my car key. Right. It cannot be my assumption that doctor is a thief and then I put it out there.
Without
the
any
records of the
backgrounds,
Eurobonds are there, you know. So now I am convinced that Kofi Ali is either a disappointed NPP foot soldier or he's just confused because the statement is churning out. None of them are valid, you know. And hypocrisy is the last thing we need. That hypocrisy is what enables bad leadership, like what we're currently experiencing, to carry on because it emboldens them. How can you be a citizen and be saying to somebody who is constantly involving that is the same as the person that was building you up, the person that was making an effort to elevate the country, and when he turns around, all you hear is that they're all the same. That car, I'm glad you said Simon has addressed the issue because the car is still with the state.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy Simon addressed that issue. It's very important. I wanted to.
Now,
yeah.
Record I have here of that Eurobond. Does Sentepe benefit anything personally, like Ken Okoriata has been doing with Data Bank, where they set up advisors for the borrowing? Is that what Kofi Ali seeks to say by saying they are all the same? Let's be candid. You know, I say here all the time that when we get the microphone, it is important that we put out information that is verifiable, information that is honest, that when people that do not have direct access to that information, they can go back and either learn something from or make a decision based on. It is not an entertainment platform. We do not come here to make jokes. We come here to put out information and address issues that are hitting the country and that are affecting all of us as a collective. So no, they are not all the same. Anyone that makes that statement is a hypocrite. That I will stand by. Because it either means that you're not in the know or you're just dishonest and you're pretending. Record I have is $1.5 billion. I stand to be corrected.
Thank you for sending me that document. It's very important.
Of all the statements made by the president, made by the finance minister, made by appointed ministers of the government, about IMF that we are members of, because they indulge in the lying and trying to throw dust into the eyes of people that are none the wiser, instead of knowing and acknowledge that we are members of the IMF. So when we go to them, it is not a sign of weakness. Yes, mismanagement can get you there, but being bold and accepting your problems is part of taking that first stride to get solutions. Why did they campaign with IMF? They tried to make NDC going to IMF was for policy. It was not to go and borrow money. That was not the basis. And these are all the entitlements you have as a member of the IMF. Now, because they have campaigned and campaigned and campaigned, they have been trying to cook the books all the time. But it has come to that point where the truth has been forced out. Kennedy Japan's famous words, which I quoted earlier, only a failed government goes to IMF. If that's anything to go by. Doctor, I like to speak with receipts all the time, because I don't want to ever come here and be
not knowing what you're talking about.
Yes,
whatever. Your assumptions
no
and that.
Let's
I appreciate that.
And just trace hardcore facts. What has been said by people that we pay with our taxpayers, people that are irresponsible, that mount the microphone and just speak anyhow, because that is the same as being insulting. If you speak to people and you throw dust into their eyes with the assumption that they will never be able to verify the information, yes, they mean that you think that people are idiots. So that's arrogance. Now the lies about the e-levy, the homegrown solutions, where are they? Where are the homegrown solutions? Why do we always get announcements but we cannot see anything? I want somebody to come, Kofi Ali, maybe he can come and speak about the drones, because I've been in Ghana.
See, I wish he was on. It looks like he's working alongside the program show.
Anybody can write any of these loose statements and post it and run away. But when you're defending something that's right, it is never difficult. When you're speaking and you're presenting the truth, it's never awkward. But when you want to mask a lie, it does not matter how much you put out, it will still come out.
Okay.
This is where we find ourselves. This is where the dishonesty is bringing us. Now, my appeal to Ghanaians is that do your due diligence. Do not align yourself with people just based on rhetorics, based on anything you hear. I stand to be one of those people that anything I put here, take it, fact check it.
Are you there, Simon?
And come and put to us.
Are you there, Simon?
This is where we want to go as a country.
Okay.
I stand for the NDC. I'm representing a party that I believe to be truthful. That's why when I come here, I don't want to put out things that nobody can trace. I put out things and I mention names and I mention dates with timestamps so that when you go and check it, even if you're not aligned to the NDC, you will be able to know that what information you got today was true. That information was traceable. Then you can start questioning your own self based on the decisions you have made. What caused you to back this party? What caused you to back this party? The third force issue we all know is a joke. We're not going to go there. We're trying to be a serious country. We're trying to rescue the country. We're not going to be wasting time playing games with who wants to do what, who wants to be in the limelight for 2 minutes. It is not about that. The country is far down the drain, and we only need somebody that has vision, somebody that has tried and tested. I know if John Mahama is to come into power today or NDC comes to take the seat, it is not going to be an easy ride. The mess, the cleanup that has to be done, it will take probably forever to even do the auditing. Every day we wake up to another scandal. Every day you wake up, you get a message on your phone, there's some rot that's going on. Only in this country, in Ghana, do we get excavators. Of all the things that can go missing, excavators can go missing in Ghana. How do excavators disappear?
It's a question that you and I have to ask.
Excavators cannot disappear in any country that is serious. Ghana. Excavators, not a pen, not a car key. You know, I'm hearing this week that gold, $350 million worth of gold, gone up in smoke. And then people want to be praising who? No, you can't praise leadership. There is too many alleged coincidences that can happen. And then you have to look at the state forces. You have to look at all of that. I give up.
Okay.
From when a police station is being robbed, police come out and do anything. I like to connect all those dots. That the person at the top who is appointing these people is the one to be held responsible because he's the one doing the assessment. He's the one whose skill he uses to measure these people and say, oh, this person is worth this appointment. This person can go to energy even though he's a dentist, even though he's messed up the education sector. Let me reward him with a more lucrative industry so he can maybe siphon something for us to come to life. Why is Ejaku talking now that he wants to be a presidential candidate? All of a sudden, he wants to highlight what happened in 2018. Nobody is interested. Because at the time there was the call, be honest, come out and say something as a professional, as a citizen, if there is something. But if you were partisan enough to keep quiet and mask it, then nobody wants the stories about you're not talking sense to the president, you're talking sense. You are a hypocrite, just the same.
Okay.
And the running mates and the Minister for Trade and Industry who also wants to be a presidential candidate, you are a cabinet minister. Every wrongdoing that's going on in this country, you're part of it. You are at that table on a daily basis approving things.
Okay, let me get Joe, please. Stay on the line 1 minute. Joe, good afternoon, back again. Are you there, Joe? Hello, Joe. I think his line is cut. So, Mr. Odupong, you haven't spoken for a while. We're talking about this car issue. I don't know if you remember it very well, because we're talking about okay, I've gotten Joe back. Joe, where did you go? I was looking for you.
I could hear you. You couldn't hear me, but
oh, sorry. Yes, so we're talking about the fact that people make, if not just assumptions, without any grounds of certain pronouncements, especially some, if not based on partisanship. Don't you think it's hard time we know what we're talking about? You've based your argument with facts and grounds.
Yeah, that is true. And I think for our democracy to grow, that is what we need to do. Because if we are always stagnant on making pronouncements that are not justifiable, pronouncements that are defamatory, but yet we cannot have anything to justify it. I think it's wrong. Yeah, someone's phone is ringing. And
Mr. Dupont's phone. Don't worry about that. I think the line is too.
So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think yes, what Mr. Tegba was saying was right, and it is right. We need to back our statement with facts and all that. But you see, he doesn't need to roll call all these names. The truth of the matter is that even if they bring Jesus Christ of God as their presidential candidate and running mate, they are going to lose. And listen, look, if Mr. Kofi Ali, and this goes to Mr. Kofi Ali and to my father, Mr. Kitiosin, I like him so much. You see, if we want to be taken serious, we need to have a consistent stand. When it was 2016, Mr. Kitiosin, the PPP, did not say that Ghana has been ruled by NDC and MPP, and for that matter, there needs to be a third force. But when they have to be bold and join Ghanaians, and in this case, let me tell you, I'm being emphatic. Even if we bring Jesus Christ to come and form a third force, there is no third force that's going to win presidency in Ghana. It's never going to happen. I believe in the CPP. CPP can never win election. CPP can never get 10% of our election in Ghana. It's a fact. So the only alternative Ghanaians have now is the NDC. Now, if they want to throw a line like this, it makes some of us believe that yes, they are in bed with the NPP, and that is why when it comes to the NPP, they then begin to say, oh, all politicians are the same. Ghana has been ruled by. When Dr. Kotindum was joining forces with the NPP, at that time,
Krobia, please, lower radio, no kakra, Krobia, and Pacho. We'll read it on Joe feedback, neighbor, Pacho.
When they were joining the NPP at that time, Mr. Kitiosin and the PPP did not know that all politicians are the same and that Ghana has been governed by NDC and MPP. Is that what they are saying? It is a rescue mission. Look, I do not, and take it from me, I do not glorify criminality. But in this case, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer a wife that when you are leaving for work, doctor, like you've come to work now, you left 200 pounds on the table. When you went home, when you went back home, there was no food on there and your 200 pounds couldn't be found. Another wife, when you went home, you knew you gave your wife 200 pounds. Yes, you were expecting maybe a nice pizza and all that. But then she made something nice for you. Are you listening? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
And this wife, she made something nice and used some of the money to make some food for you and use some to also do another thing. Which one would you prefer? So if we are talking about all politicians are the same and all that, Mahama built Terminal 3. What has Akufo-Addo built? Mahama, today we can talk of University of Ghana Medical School. What has Akufo-Addo done? So when people wake up and they say, if then why do we praise Kwame Nkrumah? Because all politicians are the same. Kwame Nkrumah is the same like Akufo-Addo. Why do we praise Kwame Nkrumah? Look, we make people think that we are in bed with the MPP and that we are not consistent. And I will not follow someone who is not consistent. If there was something wrong with the NDC at some point in time and that you found that the MPP was the alternative, you joined the MPP. What is wrong today in you finding that the MPP has failed Ghanaians and that the only alternative now is the NDC? In any case, if you put John Mahama on a scale and Akufo-Addo on a scale, John Mahama outweighs Akufo-Addo massively. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of everything. He is saying he's from Sakwa, Mr. Kitiosin knows Sakwa, I'm from Pristia and all that. We know ourselves. The things that the NDC has done for these areas, compared to what the MPP has done. So when we come out and we say, look, this is what gives the MPP the effrontery to do what it is doing, because we don't have people who are consistent in the Ghanaian political space. And Mr. Kofi Ali, look, someone wants him to go to ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Kofi Ali, you want me to believe you, and now you are labeling someone a criminal and all that. You, Mr. Kofi Ali, you want to lead people in ECOWAS Parliament. You don't believe in the Ghanaian wearing his own clothes even in Parliament. You want me to believe you? Someone who chastises people for wearing their own clothes, for being African. You want me to believe you to lead me into an African Parliament? Listen, we need to be serious. We need to be serious. And for me, I am not one perturbed about what is going on. And
in Ghana presently. In Ghana presently.
Yes. Because I have always said, look, Nana Akufo-Addo, If you give him 1 million years, he will never succeed. Give him 1 million years, he will never succeed. Give him all the
Joe.
resources.
So you've got about 4 minutes. You want to share that with Krobia, please, and then he finished with the last touch.
The kind of people he has in his administration are dead heads. The heads are dead. Because look, if you remember when you were at GN Radio, I did make a pronouncement that my daughter can even govern Ghana better than Nana Akufo. Do you remember that statement?
I've always not had a problem with you. The only thing is your opinion. My only thing is the opinion thing.
Some people were referring it to as an insult. Now let me give you the reason why I said that.
Okay.
If my daughter, and she likes burger and chips. So if I don't go to work, you know what she tells me?
No.
She said, Daddy, if you don't go to, how do I get money? How do you get money to buy my burger and chips? She knows that it is only when I work that I can get money to buy her burger and chips. The de facto prime minister is talking about e-levy not yielding the desired results. If people are not working, how do they pay tax? If I tell you my daughter is intelligent than these people, you tell me I am insulting them. You see the dead heads we have. The dead heads. You have not created any employment. You want people to be paying e-levy. What job have you created for these people? What job have you created for them? Look, I am saying, and I'm summing up, I am saying that, look, we've all made mistakes before. We've all believed that Akufo-Addo was from UK. If we speak the British accent and all that, we believe we were lied into believing, like Kobia said, a key soap that has been made to us as a Rexona. You know Rexona, those days, there was a soap called Rexona. It's not nice. Akufo-Addo was like that. He was sold to us like that. A key soap that was sold to us as a Rexona. Today, it is only wise that we become enlightened, because today, if I speak now, 10,000 people here through the use of technology and all that. So we are enlightened.
Okay.
So today,
thank you.
If you are still in defense of this Akufo-Addo government, if you are still believing that Akufo-Addo can do something, it is only up to you and your God. The praise and the mercies God will give you, you and your family will inherit it. I am saying we will all suffer, but some will suffer more than others. Thank you very much.
All right, Krobia.
Yeah,
but what's your Actually, I was trying to get you back, but I said no, I'm busy, and we couldn't get you. But I know I'm saying now can on a panel, so all right.
We know how the system is working. You who a normal I enjoy the other things like education, everything. I enjoy your mamu and and will be a work which you have your work that will, now you know, television and say, obey me in the Bible, I will say, why? So, Ghana to your mind. So, I didn't know.
We are here and all that, yes.
Yes, me, I'm a my papa says I'm a mother with Doctor, if you are my own best over Ghana, who by the work with me. What are you talking about? What about you have said? No one about a young person transcript. Here reading and our menu. Hey, Israel, you should be the first person that was for Ghana, because Ghana, if you know how people they were Muslim Ghana. Now what you have said, if you are sitting at your own comfort zone. A yama uti. Now okay, can't send you. Near here, no say because you are here, no better.
All right.
That's one.
That's it.
The mechanic said, Obimo to say, road minister, agric minister, and Yao Sapmapo. Moon shared a young friend and say, oh, no, we share on ye. Because
I'm at Mr. Thomas.
Say thank for when we party when Jeroma because you are some of your comfort because we are going to and you my friend say Auditor General or cut over the camera one family you are some of your comfort men can't because we saw your comfort we are going to 1 million one family. There was some of what prepare itself. New China can over for spending what you go. I'm a partner, unprepared, yes, again be power on Ghana. Then you demonstration can separate Muhammad. We go back to Ghana and do demonstration against Muhammad.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Oh, yeah. Finally, I was going to wrap up, but now that you're here, finalize it. Let's go, please.
Okay. How many minutes have I got?
We're almost done. It's 1 o'clock.
Okay. Anyway, to all the good people of Ghana, all I'll leave you with, be vigilant. It is sad when things are being thrown out without being fact-checked. This is where we are. Do not let anyone fool you for you to take a side. Your vote counts. I hear from people when they say your votes don't count. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. It is important that you stand up to be counted and know that the decision you make today, it is important that it affects everybody. There is no single individual that is more important than the other. As soon as you keep doing your due diligence on stuff, you'll be able to make an informed decision. With that, you can brighten the corner where you are. And you can hold people accountable. You can only hold people accountable when you know what's going on. Get familiar with the Constitution. Read the manifestos of the parties. Find out who is keeping to their word. Take each sector of your interest and just do a 10-year check. That is how you can check and see who is actually doing what. Not just what somebody comes to announce. Because as for the showmanship, the convoys, this present president has been the most wasteful. We have a D8 that's dedicated to carrying a chair around the country. In addition to all the private jets that's been hired to waste our money.
All right.
People are not able to afford food. The NDC currently is the only party that can rescue Ghana. Let any pair force, join forces that also get to know what is the role of every person that you want to see accountable and stand up and be counted.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mission.
Yes.
Together we'll all achieve it come 2024.
Thank you.
We're on our way to IMF. There's a letter that's been released. There's so many prints, even as recent as last month, denying this from our finance minister. So let's see people who are liars. Liars are liars. We cannot call them any other thing apart from what they are. They are thieves and they are liars. Let's hold them accountable. Let's stand up and take Ghana back and give it to somebody that can make some progress.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tega. Do have a good weekend.
Have a good week, Doctor.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. Hopefully, we'll be here again next Friday. Sorry, Paul?
Yes.
So finally, I think we're done with the submissions.
Yes, we've done with the submissions.
We couldn't even have time to talk much about. They took the talks from us.
Exactly.
But
well, I mean, my interest was on that parliamentarian in Europe, because you see, some of the things that we have been talking about ourselves emanates from Europe. Okay. And as I said, I would like our scholars and our writers, the journalists, also to be looking into why we are not succeeding. Is it the reason being that part of the problems is coming from Europe or coming from America or coming from France? Because this woman, what she said, I think President Mitterrand of France has said similar things before, that France cannot be France without Africa. Yes?
Okay.
So, parties must be parties looking to win power, but they must also win power on what they believe they can do for the country. Yeah, not because they want power. They want to take power. They have to rubbish somebody to take power. that days are gone.
It's
That's
about
what
the people.
It's about the people, and that's why we're saying NDC and MPP are Dukadaya. I'll finish.
All right. Thank you very much, folks. And then for those of you who send messages on Facebook, hopefully we'll see you next week. And God bless you. Have a good weekend.